It is 6 a.m. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. SEC Media Days, Day 2 in Atlanta. Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas will all speak today. Speaking for Tennessee will be Bryson Eason, Arian Carter, Miles Kitzman, and head coach Josh Heupel. Tune in to 3HL this afternoon to hear exclusive interviews and stay up to date with all the SEC news as they broadcast live from the College Football Hall of Fame from 3 to 6 p.m. In NFL news yesterday, the New York Jets and wide receiver Garrett Wilson reached an agreement on a 4-year, $130 million contract extension that includes $90 million guaranteed. It makes him the fifth highest paid wide receiver in the league now. Wilson now will be under contract through the next 6 seasons. In other NFL news, 6 more teams will start training camp today with rookies reporting for the Ravens, Bills, Dolphins, Giants, 49ers, and Seahawks. In the MLB last night, first-time All-Star and Seattle Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh is the 2025 Home Run Derby champion, becomes the first catcher to win the event. Raleigh currently leads the MLB in home runs this season with 38. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you've got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Here we go on a Tuesday morning. This is Ramon and Will. As always, we are fueled by Scooters Coffee. Visit a locally owned location near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Scooters Coffee, amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. SEC Media Day is 1/4 of the way done, and today is UT Day. Texas will also be in attendance on day 2. Auburn and Georgia, 615-737-1045. VolQuest's Austin Price back with us in hour 3. Steve and Godfrey in studio for the entire 9 a.m. hour talking college football. And we stream it for you out of the goodness of our hearts on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. You enter the F&M Bank chat by going to the comment section and saying whatever your heart desires on this Tuesday, July the 15th. Ramon Foster coming in hot this morning. How we doing?
Hey, when you said available on Twitch, I needed to say Twitch, please, because I came in like Babs and not giving a damn about my whole reputation is what I'm telling you. I was hot in traffic, man. You did the most unadult thing ever this morning. You know what that is?
What's that?
Getting dieseled for the truck this morning. Okay. That took a little time, and I wasn't tripping off of that. But, of course, when you're a little bit behind your schedule, I don't know. I don't care what it is, man. Whatever your time is to leave the house, leave it at that time, because that 5-minute difference that I'm talking about is like 100,000 more cars on the road at that time. Mm-hmm. And somebody got pulled over this morning on Trinity. By the way, if you're coming into the city and you listen to us right now, there's a car was pulled over by a trooper. It was a white Beamer, by the way, too. Dude, like he was on his way to work. Bad morning to have a bad morning, because he looked like he's definitely getting a ticket.
If you're listening, sorry to hear that.
Yeah. That's the other part. But as I'm filling up this morning, though, at the gas station I go to by the crib, there was a guy that was like, "Hey, love what you guys do in the morning. Appreciate you, my brother."
Thank you. Got to go do it.
And good morning. Yeah. And good morning to you, by the way, man. So It was good. I'm going to be real with you. I love that type of stuff, man. That's pretty cool, man.
SEC Media Days today in Atlanta, Tennessee, Auburn, Georgia, and Texas. Ramon, when you were a player, how much did what was happening at SEC Media Days get on your radar?
None of it.
Okay. So this really is just for us and for fans.
None of it, man.
Perfect.
Because Johnny Long was driving us so hard into the ground. It was our strength and conditioning coach at UT. Man, we were so in it. You know the only reason I wanted to go to it? Fly on the private jet, number one.
Exactly.
It was that part.
That's a good reason.
And to get out of the workout, man. I was just like, golly, we finna go get beat down, and they probably having Chick-fil-A on private jets and enjoying themselves. But I don't know if I would have been ready for all the media at the time. But I tell you what, I feel like we need to be down there right now, though, considering 2 SEC guys, football player at the football media days itself. MEMS, Will. You know what MEMS mean?
What's that mean?
Make it make sense. Can I lobby for that for us on air
Yeah,
like that?
of course
All
you
right,
can.
for sure. I did it anyway. Okay.
I was jealous last night of anyone in Atlanta because the home run derby looked fun.
Yes, it did.
And the only way to actually see the ball in the air was to just be there in person because ESPN wasn't showing it.
They could not show it on time,
This
man.
I want to do I'm curious if people are as annoyed with this as I am because I think the home run derby is the ultimate not as good as it was 20 years ago thing in sports. Like, I cannot think of any one other thing, other than maybe just the sport of college football.
Yeah.
I'm halfway kidding. That isn't as good as it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
The home run derby broadcast, after Matt Olson went and lost, I turned it off.
Did you really? I
You
saw
can't
him.
see the
I saw him
dingers.
lose. Yeah.
All we want to see is just a
doubt.
ball flying through the air. Just go, ooh.
Yeah.
Like we do on fireworks. Honestly, when we watch fireworks, it's a lot like watching the home run derby. You want to say, ooh, and then you want to say, oh, this is the big finish on both of them.
It's so
And
true.
then we don't have that luxury anymore.
You know what it is? In my opinion, too much technology.
Too much technology in a too complicated format.
Yeah. Like it's they want to show the pathway of the ball leaving out. They want to get the distance at the ball. No, give me the wide angle. Give me the Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa and
Give me
Mark
high home.
Give me that is
Yeah.
what I'm looking for. Okay, yes, I know who they are. I know the ball went a far away. Okay, it went a far distance. I get all of that, but like, I don't need all the ball exit angle and the velo off the bat and the distance was 540 feet. By the way, Ellie De La Cruz? Was
Was
it Ellie?
O'Neal Cruz.
O'Neal Cruz.
Yeah.
Oh,
Got your cruises mixed up.
I know. Both of them some dogs too, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. Similar play. NL Central, long-haired shortstops that can run.
I'm telling
and
you,
mash
South
the
American
ball.
players, two of them,
Yeah.
not mistaken, both of them, legitimately will 540. I think that's what RJ told me hit one.
Crazy.
Insane. Now that you can tell me and show me the replay of that coming back from break or something, but like, don't make that the main conversation, and then you hear the crack, and next thing you know, it's a pop out every single time.
They used to have it to where you could not hit another ball until the ball you had just hit landed.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's just too complicated of a format. Like, I don't know why we got away from 10 outs.
I'm telling you.
Everyone gets 10 outs. Take as long as you need. And that's just the way it goes. You get 10 times to not hit a home run. You just got to go on a heater.
And that's what it is more than anything. But I think they're probably carrying a whole lot, which is the thing about guys swinging, them going back to their going back to their teams. And a lot of those guys have probably complained about, well, if you didn't rush me to swing and hit, maybe I wouldn't drop off my batting percentage after the All-Star game. It's tricky, but that's why I roasted All-American Sports yesterday as it pertains to like the All-Star games. They found ways to do too much. Like, man, it's a baseball, it's a bat, and it's a crowd. That's all we really need at that point.
It's really quite simple. Selly on YouTube says, you turned it off after Olsen. That's your Braves fandom. Yes, correct. Because I wouldn't have even turned it on had it not been for waiting like the hour and a half for Matt Olson to hit. It was a bad product to watch on TV.
You know what I
really
love?
bad television product.
You know what I love about this? You and Sally got a great banter out every now and then.
The beauty of it
baseball
is
only.
I would rather Matt Olson be out rather than be a tryhard like Pete Alonso who does trap bar deadlifts in the weight room, just like looking like he's actually about to do something important.
Yes.
As he's waiting to actually go back in the home run derby. So I'd rather Matt Olson just not compete well versus be a tryhard like Pete Alonso.
Talk your stuff a little bit, Will.
Yeah, well,
I see you woke
it's
up
the
this
only
morning.
important thing that Mets players get to do is compete in all-star competitions because they're sure as heck not playing playoff games. I mean, they did a little bit last year, but that's 1 year, and we'll see what actually happens this time around.
Get you a microphone to speak on.
Yeah,
Sally.
no, it's the Mets don't move the needle for me whatsoever.
That's what's up, man.
We've got bigger fish to fry like Phillies and Yankees. The Mets, they're just little brother that
little bro.
pat him on the head and let him keep going.
Little bro.
I love Selly, but his baseball taste is poor.
Hey, we're getting close. That's all it is. Will you poured a little octane
Listen, once
into
college
your...
football starts, we don't have to worry about baseball
That's
rivalries
what I'm
anymore.
telling you, man. I'm here
Plus,
for
the
that.
Braves are going to be so out of it by that point that I'm not even going to be like, who?
Let's go.
Who's in our division again? I'm just going to act like I don't even know who we play.
And Sally can't even come back at you because you cheddar bobbed yourself like Eminem on 8 Mile. You
Yeah, that's
said,
right.
"We
No,
gonna be
Braves are
back."
terrible. But
Yeah.
as Stephen Godfrey, who's going to join us at 9 a.m. this morning, said on Twitter the other day, the 5-year window of happiness after the championship, it ends this summer. But we're still there.
That's about right.
You
That's
get about 5
right.
years. About 5 years of puffing your chest out after
Yeah.
a World Series. And 2026 comes around, that kind of runs out. But until then, I'm going to use all of it.
That's real. That's real because that's recent. Because what you're realizing is this, man. Somehow, probably kids were made during that World Series, and they're off to school this fall. Is what you're saying? When they're off to school,
that's one way to look at it.
We're in a different phase. I'm just saying, there are some chippers that are going to school right now, okay, because of that World Series. Some Freddies, all of that. You better believe it, Will.
I love the two comments back to back. Nephew Selly and Jeremy and Zach and everybody who wakes up with us early. Jeremy says, too much Pat McAfee. Zach, the next comment, more Pat. I have Pat McAfee fatigue. I have a lot of Pat McAfee fatigue.
Do you appreciate him or like him more on College Game Day, though?
Yes.
Okay, that's...
College Game Day is where I think he's at his best, but my name is Will Bowling, and I am suffering from Pat McAfee fatigue.
Yeah.
I respect what he does. I respect the energy levels he has to do to fill however many hours a week that he is on air, because anytime there's a camera turned on at ESPN, it feels like he has to be in front of it.
I was going to say, anytime you get a bag from ESPN, you better earn it, too.
It's nothing personal. He's got a job to do and money to make, but I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Him and Stephen A. Smith, I'm good.
Yeah, man.
A little bit of fatigue.
It's a lot. Pat, like you said, it's on everything from everything they do to wrestling to the UFC stuff to everything at this point. And everybody was shocked by the big bag he got from the network, man. But here's the thing. That's why Shaq and Charles Barkley, both. It's crazy. You can just say Shaq name. You don't have to say the last name.
He's a one-name guy.
He's a one-name guy. Mm-hmm. You can say Charles, too, but like Shaq. Okay. Well, either way, that's why they're always like, we're not going to ESPN, which they are now. He was like, because they're not going to work me all them hours and pay me that little bit of money. So from the guy that said nobody's giving more money to Auburn than him, he's taking the ESPN check right now. But I guarantee he's probably on his own schedule for sure.
Yeah, it's a little insane.
That was some good trash talk this morning, my dog.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
I think it's probably set your voice.
That's on me. I'm the one that's running late this morning.
615-737-1045, our number. Streaming the show live, 1045 The Zone TV. You can hit up the comment section on YouTube, where we always have the most lively community. Monday headlines in Atlanta. Greg McElroy dropped a little bit of a bomb yesterday that Nick Saban might not be done coaching. Lane Kiffin agreed with it. We'll react to that. Plus, Greg Sankey says college sports are not broken. They're just under stress. Full comments and our reaction coming up next on Ramon and Will, 1045 The Zone.
It's Ramon Foster for All-American Pest Control. Good people, last time All-American Bug Expert was out, I asked them more about the green things in my yard. And you're wondering, like I was, what are the green things? Well, it's Centricon, and it's included in my Complete Care Max program. That's what I told you guys about yesterday, which includes mosquito misting, tick treatment for your yard, and a termite warranty too. But it's part of their Complete Care Max program that helps you enjoy your outdoor area. It is that simple, man. And it controls the pests around your home too. The ring of small stations work night and day to stop termites before they get into my home, just like that. I have All-American's termite damage warranty, so if a termite does get in and do damage, they will pay for the repairs. Think about that for a second. That's a lot of trust in their product. So if you want a peace of mind and a reliable team, reach out to the team that I trust, man. Simply go to that website, man. It's yuckbugs.com. That's yuckbugs.com.
Ramon Will, 104.5 The Zone is fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Scooter's Coffee is locally owned near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. 615-737-1045, the number. So Ramon Foster, Greg McElroy yesterday says, this is a little bit out of left field. But the question was asked of me, a very much in-the-know person that I have a lot of respect for and have spent a lot of time around and really admire, seem to think Nick Saban is not done coaching.
Yeah.
I had a similar reaction. He's pretty adamant that he thinks Nick Saban will be coaching again. Look, if it wasn't someone notable, I'd never say a word. Greg McElroy, ESPN analyst, SEC Network, former Alabama quarterback, and on our sister station, Jocks in Birmingham, on McElroy and Kublik, which is a fantastic radio show down there in Birmingham for college football fans. What was your initial reaction to this? Nick Saban possibly wanting to return to coaching.
My first words was probably, and then I started to think about it as Greg would say that is the other part for me that I think kind of brings it home just a little bit more. Is, he said he wouldn't say it out loud if it wasn't from somebody he's trusted. So I'm wondering, is that somebody right next to Nick Saban? I'm wondering, is that somebody within the program at Alabama, which I'm sure a guy like Greg McElroy is real close to still. But when I sat back more and thought about the why, I'm thinking to myself, okay, in what role? Is he a defensive coordinator? Is he coaching DBs? Is he in the head coach role? And it's probably a situation with Coach Saban to where I can see him in a Bill Belichick staff, to where if he goes somewhere like North Carolina, he's in a position just be somewhat of a what you call him, GM coach almost in a sense. I don't think he's going back to the head coaching world if he's going to do it. I look at him as being a part of somebody's staff and potentially having the side of the ball. Defensive coordinator is where I kind of see a guy like him, although it'd be kind of hard to place him anywhere outside of Alabama. I think what Kalen DeBoer's done, I don't think Nick Saban can just say, move over, Ledoux. Let me handle it. Let me have this right back. I want my old job back. It has to be somewhere else, and I think it has to be in a lesser role than head coach to me. Some guys have that itch. Nick Saban looks to be a very healthy guy, very vibrant guy, very much in tune now, and probably has a better understanding of what it means to coach in this new world of NIL and transfer portal and stuff like that. To be quite honest, which it seems to me, he's probably gone around to some NFL organizations or programs and figured out, this is how you guys do it. I'd like to run a program like this or be a part of a program like this.
Sure.
And heck, the other party's probably tired of dealing with Pat McAfee on game day.
Well, I think dealing with Pat for him is the lesser of two evils than dealing with a four-star wide receiver who had a good spring game and asks for a raise.
That's true too. And that's why I can't see him in the head coaching role. If he does, I don't anybody's going to call him.
Yeah.
Anybody's going to call him. But can he handle your point? Dealing with that, dealing with a 17-year-old, 18-year-old asking for a raise, unless he seriously structures it like an NFL style operating.
That is right.
Just team.
That's 100% right.
Operation.
But the thing is, Nick Saban struggled with that operation when he was an NFL coach, because college football coaches are control freaks that want personnel decisions. They want personnel authority, and it's why he and so many others, Urban Meyer like him, Steve Spurrier like him, who did not succeed as NFL head coaches. You're not in charge of personnel.
Yeah.
Ownership has a lot to do with the funds you have for signing bonuses and the personnel people that are in place above you. It is very challenging to be a personnel evaluator and a leader of a football team simultaneously in the NFL. Mike Vrabel's going to try to do it in New England this year, but to me, Nick Saban is probably bored. He's probably bored right now.
Bored. I mean,
this is the time of year, though, where I think coaches would get a little bit nostalgic, because what else are you doing right now anyway?
Chilling.
You're exactly
talking, speaking.
So do I think that Nick Saban is bored without coaching ball? Absolutely, I do. Do I think Nick Saban wants to deal with a 19-year-old right tackle that had a decent couple of weeks and all of a sudden's knocking on his door in mid-October wanting more NIL money than what he originally agreed to for the season? No, I do not think Nick Saban wants to deal with that. This is not a time of year where it is hard to not put yourself in a coach's shoes and like what you see.
Yeah, no.
Now, in the spring or in December, I don't think Nick Saban wants to deal with the pressures and with the logistics of being a football coach. To me, Ramon, this speaks of one thing, and it's a little bit of interest in the NFL. That, to me, is where I see Nick Saban potentially having the ability to float his name out there to say, like, man, if I could get an NFL job, I'd totally take it. But the NFL's also got to want you.
Yeah, they do.
And at 73 years old, same age as Bill Belichick, I don't see him coaching again. I would be very, very surprised if he's coaching again. I'd be even more surprised if he coaches college again. Because think of the kinds of programs that are going to get him off the couch, Ramon, are two things: SEC programs or places that he has an emotional connection to. I'm talking about Michigan State, considering that's where he was early in his career. I think it cannot, he's not going to another SEC.
So
he's not going to another SEC.
So my first thought was this also, with McElroy giving that statement out there. What if this also is the first filler from Miss Terry, who makes a lot of decisions for Coach Saban also, right? Like, just to see what her reaction is. Not that he won't go to her and talk to her about those types of things, but, like, I want to throw that out there just because of relationships, okay? There, boom, it's there.
Fair.
So the other side of it for me is there's a couple of coaches that have shown him that you can go from one to the other. As of late, post his Miami career, Pete Carroll did it.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Right.
Found a way to do it, and also is 74 years old. So it's that side of it. And then the other coach as of recently that's done it is Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers. Looking at what Jim did in year one with the quarterback position too, and I think he's got to be very strategic on who he's taking. And it's not recruiting. This isn't where you can just go pick a 5-star and say, hey, this is my guy. Who are potentially some of the teams that can have have a head coach that's going to be fired, that you have a set quarterback in it? I initially look at it, and to your point, I don't know if he can handle this crowd. I don't know if Coach Saban can handle Pittsburgh, to be quite honest with you, because they're going to be in a quarterback market, and they're probably not going to be in a position to fully go get a premier guy.
Sure.
And that's the point that you made a second ago. The control that he has in college, the influence that he has in college as far as recruiting goes, as far as team management goes, as far as him having the ability to be an iron fist almost in a sense. I don't know if there's an available team that's going to allow him to do that over again with an established quarterback the way Jim Harbaugh did. Now, I thought Jim Harbaugh did a really good job in college, got his national championship, also left with some NCAA sanctions behind that too, but he's transitioned back to the NFL in a really good way. Pete Carroll's doing it, and also looking at what Chip Kelly's. That's the pathway I see for Coach Saban, but is he a play caller? Is he a strategist like that, or is he just the best leader to motivate his guys? I don't know if he'd do a better job than Denard Wilson. I don't know if he'll do a better job than some of these other guys that have been in the NFL.
It's not the way NFL teams typically go.
No. So where, to your point, it's West Virginia, it's Michigan State. It's those types of schools.
I mean, unless he wants to go coach with Bill Belichick and be Bill's defensive coordinator along with his son. Like, I don't think it makes a lot of sense. Do I believe Nick Saban today probably told someone and was honest, saying, man, I miss coaching. I'd love to get back out there and coach ball. Yeah, I believe Greg McElroy's intel's probably right. That in a perfect world, Nick Saban would love to coach again. Yeah. The problem is we don't live in a perfect world. We don't live in the college sports landscape that makes Nick Saban want to really get off the couch at the end of the day.
The last time Nick Saban was a play caller specifically was in 1994. That's the Cleveland Browns. He was a defensive coordinator with Belichick at that point, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Right? That's the only way I can see this happening. Honestly, that's the most realistic way this happened.
With Bill. By the way, this man's his head coaching record, I didn't realize he's got under 100 losses. He's 292-71.
He's pretty decent.
He's pretty doggone good.
So Lane Kiffin was making the rounds yesterday. His interview with Feinbaum, by the way, have you seen this?
I know they go back and forth, but I was
tempted to just play the whole thing. It's like a 9-minute interview. It is gold.
I'm gonna be real with you.
Absolute gold.
I didn't hear any of Lane yesterday. I was shocked.
He was actually pretty decent.
All right.
Maybe we can grab a piece of it or grab like a third of it and play it in parts, because I don't want to play it all in one sitting. But incredible chemistry between those two, who kind of speak on the same wavelength a little bit.
Yeah, they do.
Lane says, I heard Greg say that earlier today, and then they asked me a question, and I'm like, yeah, he's going to coach again. I don't know if it's college or NFL, but he's going to coach again. So he put that in my head, and I repeated it, Nick Saban, or Lane Kiffin says, but I have thought that. I thought it'd probably be 1 year in the media, then back. Lane Kiffin, quote, and I kind of thought it might be the NFL just because he's so sharp still. I just saw something yesterday where he was doing some interview. He's so sharp and has the process so nailed of how to do it that I almost see it as a waste that he's not coaching.
As a head coach is a different conversation.
I don't see Nick Saban ever being a head coach again.
Will somebody give him a program? 100%. Now, the mountain that he's got to climb is a whole lot harder than LSU and Alabama, though. Can we just be honest about that also, of the programs that are potentially left out there? Who are some hot seat coaches that we've mentioned as of late in college? I don't know if we've mentioned it as
Auburn?
much. Boy.
Could you imagine?
What's wrong with you this morning? What is wrong with you?
Could somebody make a Photoshop of Nick Saban in Auburn gear for us?
I can do it.
No, obviously that is not going to happen.
I will do it, Will. Okay?
don't tempt Ramon with a good time.
Let me work on this next break,
Before
okay?
7 a.m.? No. I mean, LSU is the one that people are really going to think about within that. I mean, if Rich Rod doesn't have a good year at West Virginia, I genuinely do believe that West Virginia is one. But again, like, does Nick Saban at 73 years old want to go rebuild West Virginia?
In West Virginia?
No, he doesn't. And I know that it's a lot quicker to rebuild a program now than it used to be because of the transfer portal. I think Nick Saban was sitting on the couch and told somebody, or sitting on his boat at his lake house and told somebody how much he misses coaching and misses the X's and O's part. The thing is, nowadays, to be a college football coach, there's very little coaching that actually goes on.
Yeah.
There's a lot more politics and talent acquisition and
fundraising,
figuring it out, fundraising, and getting the right boosters to pay you NIL dollars. Like, unless you are a play calling coach, or unless you really insist on being in the weeds day to day and you have a GM that can take over a lot of the personnel stuff, you're not doing as much coaching as a college football coach than you used to do.
And he's not in a position, I don't think, to go coach under Lane. I'm trying to think of some of the guys that came from his tree, like him going to coach under Lane Kiffin. I just don't know.
Could you imagine?
Oh my God!
Nick Saban as Lane Kiffin as his boss?
I'd make him bring coffee. he's picking up coffee and donuts. I don't care if he got his assistant picking it up.
The only guy I think in all of college football he would go work for is Bill Belichick. Like, honestly, that's the only coach in college football he would go work for.
Okay, so what about Bill O'Brien?
I don't see that.
It's outside of the SEC, Boston College.
Yeah, but you also have to be
have
to be a relevant enough program, though, too. Like, Boston College is not.
But see, that's the thing.
It's not enough to really move the needle for Nick Saban.
Is this the new challenge? Okay, so if that's the case, do we start labeling Nick Saban as the Kevin Durant then to go join the Oregon? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, Nick Saban's label is set and in permanent pen. Like, nothing he does for the rest of his life change. Yeah, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different.
I'm just saying.
KD's not the greatest of all time. Like, this would be more like Jordan going to the Wizards.
Okay.
Like, if Nick Saban goes somewhere else, that's MJ going to Washington. That just, you don't ever think of that with their legacy. It's just kind of something that happened.
We got a comment in our YouTube chat, I think. Makes good sense. It makes good sense with the money that they have there, with the spot that they're in their program history. Larry goes, Saban to Arkansas. Untapped, a lot of money.
See, but I think, again, and I financially makes a ton of sense.
That's a huge part.
And that's something that the chicken nugget dynasty in Fayetteville would go for. That's what they. It's not even. It's not an insult.
I know exactly what you mean.
But Nick Saban left on better terms at Alabama than what John Calipari left with at Kentucky. And I don't see Nick Saban wanting to go anywhere where he'd have to consistently play Alabama. Like, the guy still has a parking spot and an office at the Alabama facility.
I mean, that statue is still going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but I'm going
to be real with you.
I don't see him going anywhere in the SEC.
But you know what it is life purpose, I feel like, for a guy like Nick Saban. I do think he had a conversation with somebody and spoke it up.
100%.
I do think, you know how many, I got a lot of older friends, man. How many older guys I've seen retire, heck, me, retire and go get another job I had somebody tell me it's only so much public speaking you can do. It's only so much fishing that you can do. It's only so much, hey, babe, I'm making up lost time for us on date night that you can absolutely do for guys who are wired like that. So I see the itch that needs to be scratched. Now, again, I do believe, like, if he's going somewhere, it has to have a meaningful purpose to him. Arkansas has every checkbox that he needs. I will say that. I don't know where.
Do they? That's a good question.
They do. They can recruit. It's in a similar spot in Fayetteville. It's in a similar spot in Fayetteville that I think Tuscaloosa is to Alabama as far as it not being around much.
I don't think Arkansas high school football is as good as Alabama high school football.
Don't matter anymore if he got the bag.
It matters for Arkansas.
Look at Texas Tech.
Yeah, but we don't know if that really works.
We say that, but
seriously, we don't know. Texas Tech is a really interesting case study for the next 5 years. Because even if they make it work 1 year, there could be a Florida State 2-10 that's hanging around the corner to kneecap them. Because Florida State made it work in the transfer portal, living in the portal, living in NIL for 1 year, and then they invested a little too much in it. And look what happened. Lincoln Riley has been on the record at USC saying, we invested a little bit too much in the transfer portal and transactional relationships, and that's not what we want to do moving forward.
A lot of people believe that's Bobby Petrino's job to have to. Like,
I do too.
Sam Pittman hired his predecessor for sure.
Just keep him off motorcycles.
Or keep him as an OC.
Yeah, right.
Keep him as an OC. It's fascinating, but I do think that was probably a campfire conversation that he had with somebody that's turned into us discussing it.
Let me ask you this way. How often do you miss playing in the NFL?
Me personally, because I was on the physical side, not a whole lot. I missed the idea
when you first retired, when you were within 2 years of being done. Because we've talked about this before. Yeah. There are probably parts of being a pro that everyone still misses. Like going out on the team plane and being in a city you're about to play in the night before.
The camaraderie.
And getting dinner with your teammates.
The building up of a team.
Like everybody's got something dirty about their job. Everybody also has something clean about their job on the other side that makes them miss it. This is that time of year for Nick Saban.
I didn't miss it often.
This is the time of year where
camps, I would say my first 2 training camps, I was like, dang, I should be going. That's the reason.
That's where Nick Saban is still at his point of his retirement. He's in year 2 of being retired.
Yes, I was. Dang, I should be going somewhere. Oh, this feels weird. Or
how quickly did you grow out of that?
Be honest with you, I was like, why am I doing this? I can still be playing. Like legitimately, that came across.
There you go.
So how long? When did it leave? It was probably going into that 3rd year where you settle in.
I guarantee you, the same could be said about coaching.
It was probably the 3rd year of settling in. Like you said, the training side of it. Okay, but like there was. Can we be transparent?
Sure.
It was a lot of like, I don't have to do this. To that point, or I got an option to do something else, or do nothing.
I think Nick Saban's looking at the NIL transfer portal stuff saying, I don't have to do this.
Yeah.
I think it's like a player that retires and misses the fun parts of it. And then you get into the grind of the end of training camp and joint practices when guys are tired of hitting each other. And then you're like, you know what? That's why I retired. I'm good.
For him, and there's the other part of it, like psychology, my sociology degree coming in a little bit.
Sure.
He walked away mad, I felt like, too.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
I think he got upset with football.
He didn't get a parade into the sunset.
Yeah. I think he walked away mad. And now that mad has turned into missing it a little bit. I will say that about him because think about how quickly it ended. And now you got to look back and say, well, I still got that itch. Like mine was I walked away satisfied. I think Nick Saban walked away a little ticked off at the idea.
I think it's a dead on. 615-737-1045 is our number. Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, where you can stream the show. Highlights from Greg Sankey's, I almost said Nick Saban's, who feels like the commissioner of college football, from Greg Sankey's press conference yesterday at SEC Media Days. Why college football isn't broken. College athletics under stress. We'll give you the details of what he had to say, plus what he had to say on the 12-team playoff format coming up next.
It's Ramon and Will for Window Nation. Will, we're just talking about somebody being mad, man, walking away from something, all right? Like that gets you sometime. I'll tell you what else will get you mad. If you're mad because your energy bills are going up because you got poor windows around your house, man, and you can't keep the AC in. Window Nation, they can help you with that, though, Will. With their energy-efficient replacement windows, your homes will be comfy and cool for the rest of the summer. Better yet, here's a cool thing. Window Nation is currently offering you 50% off all window styles and no interest to the year 2030.
And Ramon, not having energy-efficient windows this time of year is literally just like opening that window and throwing money out of it. You got to make sure you get Window Nation windows, though, because they're going to take care of you and keep that energy bill lower. You can save big this month, 50% off, like Ramon said. That's zero interest for 5 years. No interest until 2030. We love working with Window Nation because they have customers who love what they do. 96% customer satisfaction, over 45,000 five-star reviews. Check them out online, windownation.com. That's 866-90Nation, online at windownation.com.
I think that was
Ramon Will at 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up the opening hour of the show, 615-737-1045. Greg Sankey yesterday says college football and college athletics is not broken. It is under stress. It is strained. Quote, the burden of making a new system work is certainly on commissioners and conference offices, but the responsibility is shared with our campuses and campus leaders. It is absolutely fully and 100% correct that we play 8 conference games while others play 9. It is also correct that last season, Sankey says, all 16 of our members played at least 9 games against what you would label power opponents. I don't believe there's anyone looking to swap their conference schedule and their opponents with our conference schedule. Ramon, what stood out to you yesterday from what Greg Sankey had to say?
He's stepping on everybody that was in his way again. Absolutely. Like what he said is law, I feel like. And also the idea, like the Big Ten may have won back-to-back national championships, but the idea that the conference that you're willing to pay for a better product is no better than the SEC, or is not better than the SEC. That's what I'm getting from. Like Sankey is essentially saying to me, yes, y'all may have won it all, but are you willing to send Penn State down to the SEC? Are you willing to send Illinois down to the? Are you willing to send all your other squads that you have to play the 8-team schedule that we have? And that's the difference. It's about quality, I feel like, for what Sankey's selling over the quantity of, you just get more games, because I don't want to watch some of the games that the Big Ten have. More times than not, I will watch Kentucky versus Arkansas. I will watch South Carolina versus Florida. I will watch Vanderbilt and see them beat Alabama. Like, those are the things, like, the bottom of the bottom to me, and I feel like that's probably what State or, like, I'm watching Arkansas versus Tennessee. Like, those are the games that still matter to me. And I don't know if you can equally say that about what the Big Ten is. So if there's a one-to-one comparison, like, yeah, your top of the top is really doggone good right now. But that's not to be said that you can't say the same thing that, look, well, Texas and Georgia aren't holding up their end of the bargain too. Your 2 will match your 2. And for everybody else you have, there's somebody in the SEC that you're not willing to play against.
Yeah, right.
That, to me, I think matters a whole lot more.
Yeah, I think Tennessee is the good example of this season, because Tennessee is slated to probably play the 4 worst teams of the SEC this year.
Yeah.
Arkansas, Mississippi State, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Probably in that order, to be quite honest with you. Like, that is the reality of Tennessee's schedule. Tennessee got a very favorable SEC schedule.
Very much so.
Yet they still play Georgia, at Alabama, and at Florida within that SEC schedule. And they host an Oklahoma team that's got college football playoff aspirations. So Tennessee is the best example this season. If you want to have the easiest SEC schedule, look at UT this year. Not probably. There is a decent chance that of the 16 SEC teams this year, Tennessee has the easiest schedule.
Yeah,
plus their non-conference Power 4 opponent is Syracuse. It's still not an easy schedule.
No.
Like, there's nothing about that schedule that's really, like, all that simple and all that straightforward. So Greg Sankey makes some points. I don't like it for the sport, because I think the 9th conference game and the automatic qualifier bid is what matters. I understand, though, why coaches are in favor of the 5+11 model. Because if you have a quarterback that has the Jordan Travis dilemma, Ramon as we call it, and then you've got to play a play-in game the first weekend of December for your college football playoff fate, then you could be doomed. And there's bonus money attached to that. There's goodwill with donors that's attached to that. There's a lot of positivity in making the college football playoff. If you go to the 2-2-4-4, like you give the 4 automatic bids to SEC teams and you play a play-in weekend, SEC championship, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. You are one injury to a star player away from all of your good things over that season being just thrown away, out the window in one game and in one weekend. So I get why coaches and why the SEC is against that.
Let me ask you something. I have my opinion on it too.
Okay.
With what the Big Ten did with their expansion, and the SEC also, were the teams they added to the Big Ten more superior than the ones that the SEC added? And I'm talking about Oklahoma, Texas as of late. Because I'm looking at, like, Oregon, I'm looking at UCLA and USC and Washington. Do they move the needles for you as much as Oklahoma and Texas, those two?
Define move the needle. Are you talking about success on the field, market size, all of it together?
Yes, all of it. History of what they've done. Like I get USC, but as of late, USC. What is USC football?
Yeah, well, has been.
What is UCLA football? Like I feel like looking at them with Rutgers, like I'm giving my answer as I ask that question. Like
that's fair.
What is Rutgers? What is? I mean, Washington played in the national championship also, but before then, like it felt like if it wasn't for that national championship game that they played in. Are you actually asking Washington to come over? You know what I'm saying? Like the quality of what Oklahoma.
I mean, it's Seattle. It's more than just recent success. That had been in the works before Washington was in the national championship game.
I'm looking at what Texas meant to the Big 12 and Oklahoma. I think that is probably a bigger get with those two teams than the 4 recently that the Big 10 added. And yes, I'm an SEC guy, and I'm really kind of crapping on it with this conversation and the way I'm talking about them right now. But again, I side with where Sankey's at right now by saying the quality of what the SEC has. I don't think from top to bottom, even like including the bottom 4 of the SEC. You look at the bottom 4, bottom 6 now, I guess. Of the Big
Vandy
10.
beat Alabama last year.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, there's none of that happens in the Big 10 to where you want to tune into it. Like, legitimately, I'll give you a matchup right now. Purdue versus Rutgers.
I'm good.
You good.
I mean, but also I wasn't raised to really care about Big 10 football.
That's fair. But, like, just the idea of sitting down and watching respectfully a Purdue Boilermakers game. Like it doesn't move the needle. I would even say, and this is just me again being a brash SEC guy, I'd rather sit down and watch anything that Vanderbilt's doing over what Purdue got on.
Well,
on game.
The crowd at a low-level SEC game is more living on every snap than a low-level Big Ten program. Like when you start talking about Northwestern and Purdue and Rutgers, like. Yeah. Atmospheres matter in the marketability of a football program and just a football game. Like, I think that is why we are more interested in watching an SEC football game versus, a random Saturday afternoon Big Ten game on Peacock. Like, that part of it has to matter. So, the depth of the conference of the SEC is still so much more significant than what the Big Ten has. Last year, the 10th best team in the Big Ten was Rutgers.
Yeah.
Rutgers went 4-5 in the conference, a 7-6 Big Ten record. You know the 10th best team in the final standings in the SEC was?
It was, what was it, 8-4?
8-4 is correct. Florida.
Yeah.
Florida was the 10th best team in the final standings of the SEC last year. Florida on a neutral field against Rutgers is probably favored by 14 points.
Easily.
Maybe 21 points.
No doubt.
Like that is where 1 through 4, the Big Ten is right there with the SEC. Maybe even better. But as far as the depth of the entire conference, there is no comparison. And it's why a team like Indiana was able to skate into the playoff last year and have just a water slide into the first round of the college football playoff. And they deserved it. They earned it. Mm-hmm. But with a 9-game unbalanced schedule where you don't play, you're not guaranteed to play good teams every year. It's just like you played Ohio State and a bunch of meh.
Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon, and who are your elites coming out?
Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon.
Michigan. There we go.
And USC trying to knock on the door of it. Illinois trying to knock on the door of it.
Sure.
Iowa always 8-4 with a good defense and good DBs and a tight end. Yeah, it's reality situation.
Got to throw the tackle in there, too.
615-737-1045, our number, 7 a.m. hour. Coming up, we'll preview today at the SEC Media Days. What's your biggest question for Josh Heupel as the Vols make the rounds? Plus, Diego Pavia compared to Cam Ward and Joey Aguilar? A great question from Ron Slay yesterday on 3HL with the Vanderbilt quarterback that we'll react to coming up next. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Are you having home electrical issues? Well, available 24/7. The Lee Company team handles electrical problems and more in short order. From routine repairs on outlets and switches to fixture upgrades and generator installations, their award-winning electricians will get the job done right the first time. Contact Lee Company for all your home electrical needs at leecompany.com. That's my favorite part about Lee Company, being available 24/7. It means when something goes wrong around the house, the second you got a friend or a family member staying with you, you want everything to be working properly, especially this time of year. You want to be spending time outdoors or in all areas of the house, not just in your common areas. So make sure everything is working properly here before the summer ends. Contact Lee Company at 615-567-1000 or head online to leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need.
It is 7:01. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. SEC Media Days, Day 2 in Atlanta today. Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas will all speak today. You can tune in to 3HL this afternoon and hear exclusive interviews with the Tennessee Collective, Bryson Eason, Arian Carter, Miles Kitselman, and head coach Josh Heupel. Auburn head coach Hugh Freeze and quarterback Jackson Arnold all will join the show this afternoon. You can, of course, hear 3HL right here on 104.5 The Zone as they broadcast live from the College Football Hall of Fame from 3 to 6 p.m. In NFL news yesterday, the New York Jets and wide receiver Garrett Wilson reached an agreement on a 4-year, $130 million contract extension that includes $90 million guaranteed. It makes him the fifth highest paid wide receiver in the league at $32.5 million per year. Wilson now will be under contract through the next 6 seasons. In other news, 6 more teams to start training camp today with rookies reporting for the Ravens, Bills, Dolphins, Giants, 49ers, and Seahawks. In the MLB last night, the first-time All-Star and Seattle Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh is the 2025 home run derby champion. He becomes the first catcher to win the event, and Raleigh currently leads the MLB in home runs this season with 38. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you've got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Seven a.m. hour on this Tuesday morning. Welcome in. Appreciate you waking up with us here on Ramon and Will. We'd appreciate it even more if you went by Scooter's Coffee. Locally owned, Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. The flavored blends of coffee. The flavor's just right there in the coffee beans for you. Maybe you like the sugary coffee. You like a little bit of a splash of coffee with your cream and sugar. Or maybe you're like me and you like the flavor kind of in the beans a little bit. You don't want to get all that, the sugars, the calories, the sugar rush to start the day. Whatever your flavor is, Scooter's Coffee, they will take care of you. And Ramon, they're going to be friendly.
Yes.
They're going to be quick. It's going to be efficient, and you're going to love it.
And it's going to be good.
Absolutely, it is going to be good. No 615-737-1045, our number. Going to get into a big question for 3 teams, Ramon, who are making the rounds at SEC Media Days today. Texas, Auburn, and Georgia, 3 of the most interesting teams in the conference this year, including the 2 best teams coming into the season in the conference, in Texas and Georgia this season. Going to talk about big questions for each of them coming up in 15 minutes. But I'm curious, Ramon, from Josh Heupel and from Tennessee, as the Vols make the rounds today, Josh Heupel, Arian Carter, Miles Kitselman, and Bryson Eason. What is your one big question? If you were in there taking the microphone, Ramon Foster, 104.5 The Zone. Hey, Coach, what question are you asking Coach Heupel today?
What question am I asking Coach Heupel? It's the first and most important one. Well, without asking him about the quarterback, I would say, Coach, where's your leadership on the offensive side of the ball for this 2025 team?
Great question.
Go.
Great question.
That gives me all the answers I need to know at that point right there, because he would either tell you how confident he is in the big boys up front, where the growth and maturity is of the wide receivers, how the tight end group is potentially one of the best units, I think, in all of college football this year. Hey, Peyton Lewis has grown up at running back, man, and we got a guy that we truly believe in. Deshaun Bishop is also tit for tat. We don't have a starter. We got a 1A and a 1B. He would give me that answer, and then he have to. If he don't bring up the quarterbacks, Will, I got to ask him a follow-up question in at that point. So I want to know, where is his leadership on the offensive side of the ball, especially with the departures of guys like Cade Mays and a lot more of the guys that have been around that team for a while.
I think it is the best question that he might answer, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I'm really curious what different tweaks to the offense we're going to see this year. And I think you hear a lot about the different evolutions of offenses in the summers before the falls, right? Like last year, we got a lot more about 2 tight end sets for Tennessee. And what do? They came out more in a lot 2 tight end sets because of the personnel they had, right? They had Miles Kitselman. They had Ethan Davis. They still do have both of those guys. And you felt like a tight end position was a strength of the team, and that Nico's skill set fit those passes over the middle to the tight ends. They felt like without Joe Milton and his inability to throw accurately over the middle of the field, that was going to be something that was more important. I'm curious what that wrinkle is this year. Well, he ain't going to answer that. If you ask Josh Heupel, how do you evolve? How do you continue to have new ideas? He's going to give you some canned answer. But in reality, we're not going to know until probably Tennessee gets into a pickle against Syracuse.
No doubt.
Because I don't think they want to even use their new wrinkles against Syracuse if they don't have to. They want to keep things a little bit more vanilla. So I think the leadership question is a great one. I think it's the biggest question facing this team because not just with the question mark at quarterback, but Ramon, without Dylan Sampson there on that offense, Dylan Sampson was the heart and soul of Tennessee football last season. I mean, Dylan Sampson was the guy that got everyone ready for a morning practice, that got everyone ready for a scrimmage under the lights at Neyland.
Mouthpiece.
That he was the guy breaking it down in the huddle. Who's the guy on offense breaking it down in the huddle in 2025? It is a question that genuinely, I think you could throw 5 or 6 different names in that, Ramon, and I'd say, yeah, that makes sense. So, like if you told me Chris Brazzell, okay, yeah, number 1 receiver coming back. If you told me Mike Matthews, okay, sure, makes sense. You could tell me Lance Hurd,
Miles Kitselman.
And I think that's probably the answer. Is Miles Kitselman. Sam Pendleton as a veteran offensive lineman coming in from Notre Dame.
Get to interview him next week, by the way.
Do you?
Yeah, nice. I got to go up to Knoxville for that one.
Oh, heck yeah.
A little preseason stuff, by the way.
Sweet.
Yeah, him and William Moy.
Wendell Moy.
Wendell Moore.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Both of them next
Good
week.
stuff.
So those will be some of the questions I have to ask them though in those settings though. To your point, because I think there's more.
Stepping up.
To your point, there's more newness to this offense. I feel like than Heupel's ever seen since he's been in Knoxville.
Yeah.
To be quite honest with you, for this offense, and this offense is super unique with the changes that happened in the spring for the player that left. So it is going to be fascinating. Will, to your point, the voices on teams matter. You know this.
Yeah, for sure.
It has to be somebody that's a representation of the entire offense. Who's the guy?
Right.
For Vandy, easy answer.
Yeah.
Diego Pavia.
Right.
Easily. To your point, who's the guy? I think it's Miles Kitselman for sure, though. But like a tight end, but you'd rather be to your point, somebody's touching the ball every single play or has a huge impact and effect on the game, and that was Dylan Sampson.
Well, and I think that is the point that we overlook considering the quarterback battle and the drama of Nico in the spring, is that Tennessee is still replacing the SEC Player of the Year on offense.
Yeah. That's a huge void.
I mean, we talk more about the quarterback because obviously it's quarterback. It's the most important position in sports, and rightfully so. But replacing Dylan Sampson is a really, really difficult task for Josh Heupel on and off the field.
Yeah.
On and off the field. So that is, I think, a great question for Josh Heupel today. Diego Pavia yesterday on 3HL asked great questions by Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, and Ron Slay. I thought this was an interesting answer from him, talking about being a one-year guy as it pertains to Cam Ward, as it pertains to Joey Aguilar. What was that like, gaining the trust and respect of your teammates in a short amount of time and then being the guy pretty immediately? Here was Diego Pavia on 3HL yesterday.
When I first got there, so I didn't get there till about a month and a year ago from today.
Okay.
So I'm there late, you know, and there was a transfer there that everyone thought was going to start. And then when I got there, I was always doing stuff like in the background.
Yeah.
So like they'd play 7-on-7 and I know the offensive coordinator, I know the plays. So I'm in there, like I would take my drop without the ball, just in the back of the quarterback. I would take my drop and act like I was throwing it to a kid. And just to make sure, you know, my brain was fresh, I was going through the motion, I knew who it would go to. And I think people started to pick up on my work ethic, but they didn't really know if I could get the job done till Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
And so I know that game was going to be big for me. And then obviously we won in an overtime game. And, you know, those guys were pretty good too at Virginia Tech.
That was Diego Pavia yesterday on 3HL. You can hit the 3HL podcast feed for the whole interview. Ramon, I think Joey Aguilar, Jake Merklinger, and George McIntyre can take one big thing away from that. I think Tennessee is going to play multiple quarterbacks against Syracuse. I don't think you're going to have one quarterback start and finish the game. I think this competition, if I had to guess as of today, goes into week 1.
Yeah.
And whoever manages that game better at ETSU game 2 going into Georgia, because you'd like to have one quarterback play against Georgia in week 3, is the guy. Diego Pavia brings up a great point there. There's only so much you can do in practice to earn the respect of your teammates until you get hit. How you get back up and respond to that within a game setting, that is ultimately what is going to dictate to me, in my opinion, who wins the Tennessee quarterback job.
You best believe it.
Unless somebody is head and shoulders above at fall camp, which I think is doubtful. That is what is going to ultimately define who Tennessee's starting quarterback is.
What's super unique about what Diego Pavia said, to your point, though, is knowing that in his mind there was a point that he had to prove to himself. And the other part of it is that I think is what's super cool about college football and what sucks about it, too. There is no preseason. Your scrimmages is against the OC and the DC that you know and have seen. Your scrimmages are against the guys that you've seen from the spring all the way through training camp. You don't get to go Titans versus Tampa. You don't get to go Titans versus Atlanta to see where your guys truly are against somebody that doesn't know them. And for Diego Pavia, and this is something that if they're smart, they have conversation with guys that potentially been in this spot or talk to coaches that have, because he said he knew the Virginia Tech game was a game that he had to go out and show and prove. That to me is maturity, Will, for as wild as Diego is. He dropped a few bombs on 3HL too yesterday, too, with potty mouth from time to time. But it's smart in the IQ level of his, though, to understand if I'm going to grab a hold of this team and prove that I'm the guy and I'm worth the NIL they sent me and they need to get behind me, I got to go out and win and play well in this game against Virginia Tech. And I gave a tip of the cap to him for that answer he gave on the short end of the stick when he got to Vanderbilt at the time. And it was, again, I got to continue to use that word mature. It was very mature of him to understand what he was up against. Because if they go out and lose that game to Virginia Tech, I ain't going to say all is lost, but it's a hard hill to climb after that and trying to have people believe in, look, this is the change that you need, and I'm the guy that you want to follow in those moments. And that is, we'll probably talk more about it, but that is a huge task for all three of the quarterbacks right now in Knoxville.
There are defining moments that define an entire season. And for Vanderbilt, beating Virginia Tech in the way that it did last year defined yet also set the table for everything else that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And that is what Tennessee has against Syracuse in week 1.
It is. And Fran Brown going to go get it.
Yeah. I mean, it is not just a game that they're going to walk over on the other side and give to you. I mean, Tennessee's I think a 12-point favorite at this point. That's a lot of points for a team that is a really big question, replacing 4 starters of the offensive line, replacing the SEC Player of the Year at running back, and 3 new starters at wide receiver. Mm-hmm. Like, there are major questions about Tennessee on offense. I know what I'm getting on defense for most of it because Rodney Gardner's still there and Tim Banks is still there.
Absolutely.
But on offense, I don't know how Tennessee's going to score points.
And so that's the part of it for me. Like, I feel a little bit more settled if Nico was there, our starting quarterback was
100%.
returning,
100%.
or you had more of a veteran team that had been in these moments. Like William, Wendell Moy and also Sam Pendleton have been in these spots. And so, of course, Lance hurt. So, like, all
they
got
to play together.
Out. Exactly. And I'll be quite honest with you. I know we're up against the break, but here's the other part of it, too. I absolutely loved my backups as teammates. I'm the coolest guys if I can reel them off. Dennis Dixon, Mason Rudolph, Landry Jones, Josh Dobbs. Will, loved them. The other side of that, I hated and was scared when they walked in the game. I didn't know what I was going to get. I didn't know if they have that it of making plays. I didn't know if they
show you in between the white lines on a Sunday in the NFL and Saturday in college football.
None of that matters in practice or when you my locker mate. What are you going to do when we get out here on this field? I was nervous as hell when Mike Vick walked out there.
Tennessee needs someone to be a Josh Dobbs.
Like, instantly.
And when the lights come on, take the reins and take over that competition because Josh Dobbs earned it on the field when he got opportunities to play on Saturdays.
Facts.
He was not wowing anyone Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
But he did on Saturdays. Is there a gamer in that Tennessee quarterback room, a la Josh Dobbs, a la Diego Pavia, who when the lights turn on a Saturday night, takes over the job and says, nope, this is not only my quarterback job, this is my football team. Y'all get behind me, let's go.
You know who I think it is? I think it's Jake Merklinger. Watching him in the spring, I don't know if this is short term, I don't know if this is long term.
Sure.
But Jake had a little bit of that to me. I felt like the guys rallied. Now, that's early. Jake's been there for a whole calendar year and stuff like that. But that's a hard spot to be in if they can fully grab it. And like I said, Diego Pavia's maturity is where they need to be going into this fall.
I will not be shocked if all 3 Tennessee quarterbacks start a game this year. I won't be shocked at all.
Me either.
I expect 2 of them to start a game.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Aguilar, Jake Merklinger, I expect both to start a game. I will not be shocked if George McIntyre does either.
I won't either.
Yeah.
That's a long conversation right
It
there.
is. 615-737-1045. What is one big question you have about Texas, Auburn, and Georgia? Three of the most fascinating 2025 SEC football teams making the rounds today. We'll get you ready for day 2 of SEC Media Days coming up next.
Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking. I lost 70 pounds and my friend lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months.
Wow, what are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99.
Ramon Will, the 104.5 The Zone on a Tennessee Tuesday from SEC Media Days. UT Day at SEC Media Days. Texas also in attendance. 615-737-1045. Coming up, lots of college football on the show this morning. VolQuest's Austin Price back from gallivanting around Europe. They'll join us at hour 3 today. Plus, Stephen Godfrey in the entire 9 a.m. hour. Maybe a little bit of a show announcement at the end of the show today.
Yeah.
Just a little what people are like.
I mean, give the people what they want.
Something to keep you coming back.
Yes.
Something to make the people lock in a little bit. What is one big question for each of the teams making the rounds today? Obviously, we'll talk a lot of Tennessee football as the show goes on, so we will not include them within this exercise. Ramon, starting with Georgia.
Yeah.
Kirby Smart making the rounds in Atlanta today. Georgia sending 13 players to the NFL draft a season ago, but they bring in 25 blue chip prospects and 5 5-stars. The train keeps on moving in Athens. Their 3-year running total, Ramon, from Pick 6 Previews, my college football preview magazine of record, 71 blue chip players and 12 5-stars over the last 3 years. They are a team uniquely positioned to reload every year with the guys that walk through their door out of high school. What is your biggest question about Georgia football entering 2025?
Biggest question is you got to go to the top of the hill. What are you doing, Kirby Smart, to back up Greg Sankey, to battle Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan? You say what you want to, Kirby. You've been good, but there is a new expectation for you as a coach. There's a new expectation for you as a program. And the fact that you have a commissioner, Greg Sankey, that said this is the super conference, what is Georgia expectation under you moving forward to battle what Ohio State and Michigan has done the last couple of years? That's my question. Because I don't think anything else matters as far as, well, it does. Texas, Georgia matters. Georgia, Alabama matters. But, I feel like Kirby's at a point in his career to where it's championships or bust for him. You mentioned how many blue chips? 70-plus blue chips? I'll just throw that number out there.
71.
71 blue chips. You got to win when you're doing it like that, Kirby. Mm-hmm. I could ask him about the cars and stuff down there, drag racing.
Well, that's always a question
we'll
for Georgia.
We'll not do that. But on the professional side of things, what are you and Georgia doing to make sure the SEC stays up here? Because there's no Nick walking through that door unless he goes to West Virginia moving forward.
Right. Unless he really wants to walk back through the door.
I mean, seriously. So
there's no Nick Saban walking through that door.
For Kirby, to me, it's him and Sarkisian at this point. Right, as far as the king of the hills is the way I would view the SEC representation right now. I think it's on them until somebody else moves up into that position to keep it as relevant as it is, to not fall back and get beat in the college football playoffs or not make it. So, yeah.
I think my question for Georgia is, are your pass catchers good enough to elevate a new quarterback? Similarly, Ramon, yesterday to the way we talked about Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And when I made the point that I always trust Ole Miss to have a functional offense. I always trust Kirby Smart in Georgia to have a functional defense. Mm-hmm. Even if the faces and names change, Georgia is always going to be Georgia on defense as long as Kirby Smart is around. So I think that's the first part of it. And C.J. Allen is the newest in the line of Georgia inside linebackers who you're going to hear from today if you're locked into SEC Media Day stuff, and who is going to be the next guy up. Dalen Everett at DB and Gunnar Stockton, the quarterback. But with Gunnar Stockton, it feels a little bit more like a return to what Georgia had with Stetson Bennett. You have a smaller, less NFL-ready quarterback who is more athletic, probably a bit more dynamic with the ball in his hands. Tough, 100%, that you can move out of the pocket more and get off of his spot, more so than you were with Carson Beck. Carson Beck, not a bad athlete.
Right.
Carson Beck was in a little bit more of a pro style of offense than I think what we're going to see from Mike Bobo and Gunnar Stockton this year. Question is, how well did you really assess your issues catching the football? Because that's one thing Georgia receivers didn't do last year, catch the football. They were at the top of Power 4 and dropped passes. That's not a kind of Georgia problem that you see very often.
No, it's not.
So what did Kirby Smart do? Well, he went out and he used his NIL money to get new pass catchers. Noah Thomas led Texas A&M wide receivers with 574 yards last year. Big body, outside, physical wide receiver. But Zachariah Branch is the one I think has a really big role to play for Georgia this season. 78 catches, 823 yards, 3 touchdowns in 2 seasons at USC. The local product, London Humphreys, who started his career at Vanderbilt, graduated from CPA, enters year 3, one of the fastest players in college football, legitimate world-class track and field speed for London Humphreys, who comes from a great track and field family as well. Second year in the program, had some injuries, a little banged up last year, but I think he is a guy that will take a step forward. And then Dylan Bell's back, returning starter. To me, it's can those guys turn Gunnar Stockton from good prospect, talent, potential, athleticism, toughness, to a legitimate top 5 starting quarterback in the SEC. I think there's potential there for Gunnar Stockton, but the only way he meets that potential is if some of these big money transfer wide receivers live up to their NIL dollars.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, that's the part of it to me of him being able to hold Georgia up again, because I know we'll probably end up going to Texas next, but he don't want to fall behind too far. They're in the same recruiting bed, and I know there's plenty of recruits and 5 stars that go around, but he had a stronghold, I felt like, before Coach Saban retired. Like, it was there for him, and soon after that he did too.
It's the closest thing to Saban we've ever seen from someone not named Saban.
No doubt.
I mean, other than maybe Urban Meyer for a couple of years. But, I mean, Kirby Smart is the closest thing we have to Nick Saban in college football.
No doubt.
Still do.
Absolutely. And also, too, was Kirby's staff. I feel like that's one thing that Coach Saban did. Coach Saban built a monstrous staff.
For sure.
That may be the next phase for a guy like Kirby Smart, too. What is he doing?
It's there.
It's there already, too.
I mean,
Fran is one of those guys.
I think the better way to look at it, though, maybe not it's and you are right, because Nick Saban was compiling the monsters of fired head coaches.
On the NFL.
For Kirby, it's more about the guys he has around the league.
Yeah.
Or around the country. Fran Brown's at Syracuse. Sam Pittman's at Arkansas. Dan Lanning is at Oregon. I mean, that's just 3 right there off the top of my head that have gone and received pay raises and bigger jobs after coaching at Georgia.
So Hyper gets credit for Golish?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, Golish isn't Dan Lanning, but Golish is solid.
But we spoke about him. He's pumping a monster down there.
USF has an outside chance of making the college football playoff.
No doubt.
They got to beat Boise State week 1 to do it. But yeah, they're a contender.
Yeah, no doubt. They are.
So I think that's the question for Georgia. And again, too, I mean, you replaced 3 starters on an offensive line that wasn't good last year. I think they miss Sam Pittman, and I think they really miss Matt Luke on the offensive line.
You know what he's doing?
He's at Clemson.
Is he at Clemson?
Yeah.
I saw him like 2 years ago. Was chasing this kid around in baseball.
Yeah, no, Matt Luke's
he walked away for a little bit. Did he really go to? I believe you.
Again, we talk about Clemson that's the team that I think is the number 1 seed at the end of the season in the college football playoff. I don't think they're going to win the national championship.
Oh, Coach Luke went there.
Yeah, we talked about this before.
Yeah, we did. Wow.
Clemson, low key, has one of the best staffs in the country.
Yeah. They got one of my former one of my former teammates there too. Defensive line coach, Nick Eason.
Yeah,
is there recruiting? He's
former Indiana coach Tom Allen, the new defensive coordinator.
All right, that's enough Clemson talk.
And then Garrett Riley's the OC.
God, yeah, he got a squad there too.
Who was at TCU. So that's Georgia. A lot of question marks there. Nate Frazier back at running back too. But they should be back to Georgia in the run game as well. They were not as good as they usually were in the run game last year. Biggest question, Ramon, for Texas and Steve Sarkisian today.
Are you going to let Arch Manning down? And I say that by this.
Interesting.
You've stacked up, if I'm not mistaken, 4 straight top 5 recruiting class with 5 stars, with high caliber rated players on this team. You tasted close to what a national championship was last year. Is Arch Manning the guy to get you over the top? Can you call plays for him that facilitates him a national championship to get them back to what I've read a second ago, that 20-year national title drought? Texas has high expectations. Texas got a lot of money behind that program on the football side of things specifically. Can you deliver the goods, Sarkisian, as it pertains to having what most think, and I'll throw Paul Feinbaum out there, a generational quarterback in Arch Manning? That's where I'm at with him. I think that's the biggest question for him. The defense, I think, is going to be fine.
Right.
The skill they have, everybody would love to have them. I don't want to say it falls solely on him, Sarkisian. There's a lot of finger pointing if they can't get that one right.
Yeah, he is now entering the pre-2024 Ryan Day world, where you start to ask, Is it ever going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, can you win a national championship? Are you capable of getting over the national championship mountain? He 100% is. Question is when, not if, for me.
Yeah.
I mean, same question we were asking about Jim Harbaugh 5 years ago.
It was.
Is you're a really good coach. You're in the A tier of coaches doing it right now, but what is it going to take for you to win a national championship? It's a very valid question. I mean, all the questions about Texas are about Arch Manning. When you have a guy with Manning on his back, who is one of the most highly touted quarterback prospects we've seen come out of high school in the last 5 to 10 years, obviously that's the guy that's going to create a lot of the questions. For me, for Texas, is Arch Manning good enough to fix your problems in the red zone? That's the problem for Texas. And, I mean, they had a 1st and goal on the 1 against Ohio State. They were that close to playing for a national championship. And, of course, we all know what happened. They fumble it, and it's taken back the other way for a touchdown. And that game looks a bit more of like a blowout than it really was. But the last couple of seasons, Texas in the red zone, converting red zone opportunities for touchdowns. Very unlike Steve Sarkisian teams. In 2023, Texas ranked 120th. 51% of their red zone opportunities were converted into touchdowns. In 2024, 54th in college football. 64% conversion of touchdowns in red zone opportunities. That is one area that will totally keep you from winning a national championship.
Yes, it will be.
You cannot be that bad in the red zone and win a national championship. I think Arch Manning's legs and playing 11 on 11 in the run game, more so than you were with Quinn Ewers, helps fix that, where you're a top 25 red zone offense again this year if you're Texas.
To add to your point about red zone, when I played, even in college too, we spent entire days on red zone offense. Like, legitimately. Friends red zone.
Titans will do it at training camp coming up in a couple weeks.
Seriously, it's red zone day. Like, getting into the red zone, then it's tight red zone. What are you doing to your point? And I do think, like, looking at Arch, and you bring up his athleticism, I think a lot of people still going to be shocked by that.
I do too.
I do wonder what is his toughness going to be like and how he's going to preserve himself as far as not taking hits, though. Because, again, when you're that type of guy, you got that type of mindset, you never have it's a never die attitude. And he got to protect himself. He's the biggest target in college football.
Yeah.
If you're playing. Easily.
Sure.
Yes.
And I think, too, that's where you talk about the differences between the SEC and the Big Ten. We talked about this with Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
We talked about it with Joe Milton and Nico. How many games does Tennessee run their quarterback? How many games are they circling on the schedule to say, all right, these games we have 25% of the playbook we need to win. These games, hey, we could use about 50% of our playbook and still win. Hey, these games, we need about 90% of our playbook to win this football game. How many games is Steve Sarkisian willing to run Arch Manning and use his athleticism? And how many games does he keep him in bubble wrap to say, we don't need to run Arch and put him in harm's way in order to beat Arkansas,
right?
In order to beat Mississippi State, things like that. Auburn, Ramon, is a fascinating team.
They are.
This season of the SEC. Pressure mounting on Hugh Freeze, a donor base and a fan base that is just not going to put up with, I think, anything less than 7 or 8 wins and feel really happy about it. They have made major investments. They've got a couple straight top 10 high school recruiting classes. What's your biggest question for Hugh Freeze and Auburn this year?
Man, I will have to frame it a certain type of way, but I think it needs to be asked, do you have a control problem? After his first season, he fired his coordinator.
Every college football coach has control.
But like him, I know.
I see what you mean, though. I'm just kidding.
Does he have a control problem of like really giving his coaches the platform to elevate themselves and the play calling that he's hired them to? So last 2 seasons, he's somewhat taken over those responsibilities, and now the finger pointing goes towards him than it does, I feel like, everybody else in that program. Just looking at some of the things they've done as far as recruiting goes, right? End up getting a hauler receiver, 2 5-stars, and 2 more a top 154 stars too. He's got the players for the offense. This is what you're known for too. You say you end up having your quarterback moving forward. Now also, Hugh, are you the guy for this job, or was it too big and you are a ghost of years past as a coach? Like that, to me, I feel like it's his biggest battle as Lane Kiffin continued to troll him on social media about the job that he's done there. And then on the plains in Auburn, like there's an expectation, especially when Kellen DeBoer comes in and do more than you in the time frame that you've been given.
My question for Hugh Freeze is, how's your handicap? I'm just kidding. My question for Hugh Freeze and Auburn is, oh gosh, don't ever put that evil on me. Can Jackson Arnold be Bo Wallace? That's my question for Auburn.
Yeah.
Can you fix another quarterback? Not that Bo Wallace needed fixing. Bo Wallace was a good quarterback coming out of the West Tennessee area, coming out of high school. But can Jackson Arnold be the next good Hugh Freeze quarterback? I think that's the major question, because the pieces are there for Auburn. I mean, Auburn has an elite wide receiver room. 2 of the top 6 transfer wide receivers in the country chose Auburn this offseason. Horatio Fields at Wake Forest, which that sounds like a Wake Forest name with all due respect. Horatio Fields sounds like a professor that should be teaching me calculus with all due respect. And Eric Singleton at Georgia Tech. Yeah. So that's 2 black and gold academic schools from the ACC where their best receivers are now playing for you. Cam Coleman, if you're unfamiliar with the name Cam Coleman, this guy belongs in the Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams, Ryan Wingo tier of young wide receivers. Cam Coleman did a lot of really good things in the dark last year because Cam Coleman would have a 40-yard catch and then his quarterback would throw it to the other team. So if Cam Coleman has a quarterback that throws it to Navy-colored uniforms and not the other colored uniform, people are going to start paying attention to Cam Coleman as a superstar in college football. Malcolm Simmons, a guy that is a true freshman, contributed in that wide receiver room last year. Perry Thompson, another guy who will be in the mix. Per play last year, Ramon, Auburn was pretty good.
Yeah.
QB rating last season, Auburn went from 90th in 2023 in college football to 17th in 2024. Passing yards per game, Auburn went from 2023, they were 124th in passing yards per game to 28th in passing yards per game. The issue was they would do all those things and then throw it to the other team.
Yep.
Or Peyton Thorne would just fumble or try to keep it himself on an RPO instead of handing it off wide open in the middle of the offensive line and then fumble once he was hit. Auburn shot themselves in the foot more than any team in college football last year. Is that just who you are? Or when you minimize the turnovers, is the per play efficiency of your program enough to actually revive your program and win you 8 or 9 games? That's the question. The pieces are there for Auburn to be a 9-win team this year. The question is, can you get out of your own way? And is Jackson Arnold fixable? Major question for Auburn football this season.
Quarterback, he's supposed to be the guy, too. The whisperer.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
He's supposed to be the whisperer.
No doubt. I wish Ashton Daniels, the Stanford transfer, had been available for Tennessee.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't in Auburn for the spring, committed to Auburn in the first portal window, but couldn't go until summer.
Yeah.
And then you can't transfer out to an SEC school because you're already at an SEC school. Yes. I think that is someone who 100% would have been in the mix for Tennessee. But that is the way it worked. So anyway, that's your 3 teams taking the rounds today other than Tennessee. If you've got questions, 615-737-1045. I'd love to hear from you as we catch up on some NFL headlines as well. A receiver got paid yesterday. We'll talk about it next.
Guys, summer is here. It's time for gatherings, time with friends and family, man, activities and holidays. But how are you going to keep up if low testosterone levels are draining your energy? The answer is TRT with Low T Center, man. Their online TRT services might seem convenient, but often you end up spending hundreds of dollars on unreliable test kits and waiting for days for your lab results before you know it, if you even qualify. They say you meet with the doctor, but sometimes you don't even see a person on the screen. Do you feel comfortable trusting your health to a chat? And after all, you just have to wait again for your meds in the mail. Does it sound like quality care to you? Absolutely not, man. Go ahead and trust the experts at Low T Center. They've been changing patient lives for over 15 years, and they understand what guys need. All the treatment starts with a thorough in-person consultation, and they make it easy to qualify for your health provider, too, man. Again, here's the part about it. There's never been a better time to start TRT than right now with the free medical consultation and a free T-test. The best thing about it, the on-site labs, they'll process your test quickly, and if you qualify, you can start the treatment today. Okay, it's just that simple. Major insurances are accepted, so you have no excuse. The offer is limited, so go right now to fixmylowt.com again to book your appointment. That is fixmylowt.com, and be sure to tell them that Ramon sent you.
Ramon Will at 104.5. The Zone is fueled by Scooter's Coffee. And a reminder that 104.5 The Zone is in Atlanta for SEC Media Days. Tune in all week to 3HL as they broadcast live from SEC Media Days. Hear all the latest SEC news during 4 days of special interviews and conversations that you won't get anywhere else. Our SEC Media Day coverage is sponsored by Brian's Motorsports and Medical House Calls. For more info and schedule of interviews, visit 1045thezone.com/events. 615-737-1045, the number. Garrett Wilson got paid yesterday by the New York Jets. 4-year, $130 million, making him one of the highest paid receivers in the NFL, including $90 million guaranteed. Fourth most in a wide receiver's contract, sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter. It is the first time in NFL history, Ramon, that a receiver has received an average of over $31 million after playing only 3 seasons.
All while wearing big sleeves on his uniform.
That's
too.
right.
Old school style, man. Legitimately, he did what he was supposed to coming into this league. 3 straight 1,000+ seasons underneath him. With instability is what you would call it at the wide receiver. I mean, at the quarterback position too. Mm-hmm. But here's what I would say, and it's probably not often we say this about the New York Jets. Will, one word for this deal: smart. Absolutely smart.
Sure.
Going into that fourth, we're not having a discussion about a 5-year option. We're not having a discussion about, hey, we need to wait and see. We're not having a conversation about the money. And then you also get a guy, because you pay him this early going into year 4.
Sure.
To where you can say to yourself, I guarantee you this is going to make you happier than saying I want to be the highest paid. I can pay you right now. I'm not even sure if Garrett Wilson was expecting this payday right now.
Sure.
But what they did was kept his number top 5, not number 1. Mm-hmm. And I think that is smart as far as the Jets go. That's what happens when, I say this, you draft well, but you also pay your guys first. This will come in a whole lot cheaper.
Sure. Locks him up through 2030. The Jets also reportedly actively negotiating an extension for corner Sauce Gardner.
Smart.
Who was drafted 4th overall in 2022. The first time under the NFL's current financial system, which went into effect in 2011, that the Jets have extended a former first-round pick in their first year of eligibility.
Wow.
First time since 2011 that the second the Jets can extend someone, they have.
Can I answer who it is, I think?
Oh, I have no clue, to be honest with you.
Was it DeBrickashaw Ferguson?
Your guess
I'm
is
guessing.
as good as
I'm
mine.
guessing.
I did not have that one on my research.
That's on me. I'm trying to figure out who was a guy that was worthy of that in that era. I'm thinking, I couldn't have been Brick. Brick was older at that point. Well, never mind. That's big on the Jets, though. I'm not sure what they're going to do to get themselves completely right.
I mean, could it have been Mark Sanchez?
Sanchez didn't make it to a second contract there.
No, he didn't. You're right.
Yeah, he didn't make it to a second contract there.
So if it's third season, it would have been somebody drafted in what, 08?
08. Maybe it's Brick. I have to look that up.
I have no clue.
Yeah, me either. It's not like
clue.
we know Jets history like that.
Other news yesterday, if you are not in the minutia of MLB draft stuff and what's going on in college baseball, I get it. There's a lot of other stuff to worry about at the moment. But let me give you Cliff Notes real quick, Ramon. Perfect week for Tennessee baseball. Legitimately a perfect week for Tennessee baseball. Out of all of the people who could have gone pro or come to campus, it's hard to imagine this week really going much better for Tennessee baseball. Most important guy they had to get to campus, Tennessee baseball, out of the MLB draft, was the Virginia transfer Henry Ford. He's going to come to campus. Was not drafted. Significant. The number 1 player in the transfer portal, according to On3. He slashed 348, 414, and 587 with 28 home runs, 22 doubles, 115 RBIs in 2 seasons at Virginia. They also get lefty Cameron Appenzeller out of high school, the number 22 player in the country, number 3 left-handed pitcher in the 2026 recruiting class, according to Perfect Game. He was projected as a day 1 pick, fell out of day 1, will come to campus because teams knew how high his price was because of how, no, I'm serious. They knew how big his price was because of how much he wanted to go to Tennessee. Tennessee gets Appenzeller and Ford. They get Evan Blanco, the lefty from Virginia, and Brandon Arvidson's back. Tennessee's weekend rotation in baseball next season might be the best in college baseball. It's way too early to make statements like that. Might be. The key words I'm going to give on that: Brandon Arvidson, on Saturdays. You'll probably have Tegan Kuntz going on Sundays, playing in the Cape right now and doing well. And then you get the Rutgers transfer Landon Mack, who LSU badly wanted.
Wow.
Who's probably going to be your Friday night starter.
Yeah.
Tony Vitello has loaded up. Loaded up.
Again. Or I don't think there's anybody that's doing it. And Lux falls on that too, with the idea, like you said, the draft and where guys are slotted to go. But you are 100% correct on that one, Will. Big time get for Tony V. And it's, speaking of dynasty conversation, legacy, I mean, legitimately.
If they win a natty in 26 again, then yeah.
Yeah, he's in
2
that
out of 3
conversation
puts you
now.
in that.
Well,
You and LSU?
stability, more than anything.
Dalton Bargo and Reese Chapman both go undrafted. Unclear what is next for both of them. Both could sign undrafted free agent deals, or both could come back to Tennessee.
That's crazy.
Not a guarantee, though, that either one has a starting spot anymore. And then DJ Newman, the Bowling Green transfer, who's a two-way player. Unclear whether or not he's going to come back to campus or go pro as a pitcher and position player for Tennessee this season. So
Where'd he get drafted if you had that?
15th round by the Houston Astros. So we don't have an answer on him yet, but a couple of transfers that did go pro. Matt Barr, the MIT transfer, Mason Estrada, or no, Matt Barr was JUCO, MIT transfer, Mason Estrada, UNC Asheville transfer, Clay Edmondson. Those were pretty expected. Not a major surprise on any of them. Tennessee did not take any losses that were really super unexpected.
Yeah, it would have been bonuses
draft.
more than losses.
Henry Ford and Cameron Appenzeller getting to campus are extremely, extremely significant developments for Tony Vitello.
Model T Ford.
That's right. Henry Ford, the model Power T.
The model.
I got to
Power
get one of
T.
those. I got to call another game next season, a couple games for Tennessee baseball next year. And if he hits a home run, that's what I'm going to use. That's my call for it, is the Model T.
By the way, the only guy I can look at for the Jets is Darrell Rivas. That was
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably the answer.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Cool. There you go. 615-737-1045. Headlines on the other side. And we woke up to this conversation this morning about Nick Saban coaching again. Let's play a hypothetical game, Ramon Foster.
Yeah.
Would you be at all interested in Nick Saban coaching for the Tennessee Titans? That's next. Understanding the Nashville real estate market can be a major challenge. I like to go on walks around the neighborhood, and you're probably like me, regardless of what neighborhood you're in. You're seeing some for sale signs that are collecting dust. You think the market is what it is, the prices. It's a great time to sell. It's always a great time to sell if you have the right agent in your corner. And just because it is a great time doesn't necessarily mean that it is easy. Bernie Gallerani Real Estate, that is who I trust. My friend Bernie Gallerani is so confident in his ability to help sell your home. He's got a 30-day guarantee for you. He's going to give you his personal cell phone number in the process as well. 615-428-2644. You need Bernie on your side. Guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it. No risk to you. He'll let you out of the contract at any time. He is the real estate agent who has the 30-day guarantee. So if you're ready to sell your home, start by knowing its true value. Head online, BernieGallerani.com, or call him 615-428-2644. The only real estate agent in Nashville recommended by Barbara Corcoran of Shark Tank. Call him, 615-428-2644. That's Bernie Gallerani online at BernieGallerani.com.
It is 8:02. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. SEC Media Days, Day 2 in action in Atlanta. Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas will all speak today. You can tune in to 3HL this afternoon, and you can hear exclusive interviews with the Tennessee Collective, Bryson Eason, Arian Carter, Miles Kitzman, and head coach Josh Heupel. Plus, Auburn head coach Hugh Freeze and Jackson Arnold and Georgia linebacker C.J. Allen all will join the show this afternoon. You can, of course, hear 3HL right here on 104.5 The Zone as they broadcast live from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta from 3 to 6 p.m. In NFL news yesterday, the New York Jets and wide receiver Garrett Wilson reached an agreement on a 4-year, $130 million contract extension that includes $90 million guaranteed. It makes him the fifth highest paid wide receiver in the league at $32.5 million per year. Wilson now will be under contract through the next 6 seasons. In other NFL news, the LA Chargers have placed wide receiver Mike Williams, who's entering year 9 in the NFL, on the physically unable to perform list and will miss a portion of the team's training camp. Williams is in a second stint with the Chargers after spending the first 7 years of his career in L.A. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you have to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Ramon Will at 104.5 The Zone, second half of your Tuesday morning. We stream it live for you on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, as well as the 104.5 The Zone app. 615-737-1045. Vol Network analyst and 11-year NFL veteran Ramon Foster. Justin Hawkins making the show happen. I'm Will Bowling. And coming up in 15 minutes, VolQuest's Austin Price will join us. So Greg McElroy says people in the know and someone he trusts says, don't be surprised if Nick Saban gets back into coaching. Let's say the Titans were looking. Yeah. Would you have any interest at all in Nick Saban coaching the football team here? Coaching the Tennessee Titans?
That was awesome right there. Would I have any interest? Me personally, yes, 100%. One, just to see the story be retold again on can he be successful as an NFL coach? Will he have that type of control of an NFL program again? Organization, I mean, not programs are colleges, I guess. The other side of it, though, Will, is as far as control goes, does this front office want that to be the case? Because we had this conversation about Coach Vrabel. You know, was that one of the reasons that he's out in Tennessee? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you willing to go through and relinquish power to let a coach like Nick Saban come in and run your organization the way he wants to? It's the biggest question that I have for him. Now, as far as it being in very immature stages of rebuilding, he could be good. But again, how is front office going to deal with a guy that probably says, get out of the way and I just need you to supply me with what I need? And run the organization from a football side of things. It's fascinating.
I'm good. I'm good on Nick Saban coaching.
Really?
The Titans. Yeah, no,
I would take
I
it.
have no interest at all. If I could hire Nick Saban to coach my college team, if I needed one, again, Tennessee's got Josh Heupel. Tennessee's in a decent spot. Obviously, Nick Saban's not going to go to a rival of Alabama's, so that's not realistic. I'm not suggesting it is, but I have no basis to say that Nick Saban's a good pro coach. I mean, his one stint into the NFL, he failed.
That's true. Miserably.
Yeah.
Yes, 100.
He's a control freak.
So that's where I'm at, though. Like, I want to see, I would say this. I'd expect him to come in with a different mindset, a different understanding of what the NFL is. Now, him and Bill Belichick have been thick as thieves as far as their relationship goes. I do know that Coach Saban goes to different organizations in the NFL to sit and watch and be around it also. And the other side of it for me is how much can a coach in college nowadays, what transfers are, really berate guys the way he used to. Like, I don't know if there's any coach that's ruling with an iron fist in college football the way that they were Let's go 5 years ago, 6 years ago. That's the issue that I'm having with Coach Saban, even going back into college. So I would expect his understanding coming back into the NFL, especially if he wants to do the thing that he loves, coach, he's got to have, I'm talking about a very fine grade of sandpaper to smooth himself over.
The thing I wonder with Nick Saban is, in the future, does he want to be what Tom Brady is? Does Nick Saban want to have a stake in an NFL franchise and a little bit of say into the way that franchise is run to be able to scratch the itch from a football perspective, but not have day-to-day responsibilities that require you to manage the dirty side of the job that you don't want to manage? Like, that is what I think could be of interest to Nick Saban. Does he have 5% stake in a franchise and an owner that is willing to let him have conversations that matter? And I'm not insinuating that would be here. I'm saying all 32 NFL teams. Like, if I'm an NFL owner and Nick Saban calls me with an interest in 5% of my organization, the way Tom Brady kind of has it set up in Vegas, I'm having that phone conversation. Like, that, I think, is way more realistic than him ever being a head coach again. And the Titans don't have an opening either. Yeah. Like, I'm of the opinion that with the phase of a rebuild the Titans are in, barring a disaster, you don't need to have another head coach search happen next offseason. I believe enough in Brian Callahan to give him time to see this rebuild through.
I personally don't think he'd be good in a management role. I personally don't, because I think the numbers are too small for him. I think the pool of athletes that he's pulling from is a whole lot different than what it is in college. And I look at me personally, I look at the guys that he would want are almost impossible to get to stack up on your team. Like, we're watching Howie Roseman do it, right? But, like, they're paying astronomical amounts of money to guys to keep them.
And I'm not saying he's a GM. I'm saying he's an owner that can sway free agents and can break ties and when all things are equal. Like the way Tom Brady has had a pull in Vegas.
Yeah.
And has made Vegas become a little bit more of a commodity with, hey, like there's an interest in coaches. And, like, you think Pete Carroll goes to Vegas if Tom Brady's not a part of that ownership group? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he does, but there is a pull to Vegas now to say, like, oh, hey, they've got Tom Brady in their corner. Like, you think that wouldn't be the case with Nick Saban?
I don't know, man. I look at Saban and say I think he's college football or coaching on either side. I could say he's college football as a GM. I think he has way more power and flex as far as the control of it that way, as opposed to him being on the NFL side. Like, I get what you're saying.
But you're dealing with the side of college football that made you retire if you're just a GM.
Yeah.
Because that's, I think, the part that Nick hates is the player acquisition. And this guy wants more money. Like, I think Nick Saban just wants to be a ball coach and wants to have a schematic say in something a football team is doing.
But the other side of him being on the management side is those minority owners don't get much of a voice in those situations. I don't think him paying 0.5% into, let's say, you can't pay in the Green Bay Packers. If he pays 0.5% into the New Orleans Saints, like, I don't think that's enough money to give him a bigger seat at the table just because you're Nick Saban. Because there's a lot of other people that have B's behind their investments in teams that have a little bit more at stake than he does. More than just him being a coach. So I like the idea of him being behind the scenes the way Tom Brady is. But the thing about Tom Brady is he is NFL. I think he has a higher legacy in the NFL than he does in college sports, which is why his influence is a whole lot bigger than I think Nick Saban's ever will be in that moment. His pull as far as influence is way higher, in my personal opinion, than Nick Saban's ever could be, other than if he went and coached. His only flex on the NFL is he's got a coaching mind to be able to develop a team into a world championship team.
Yeah.
That's the way I view Nick. And is he a culture resetter? Yes, I think that. I put him on the ground more than I would up in the front offices. And I don't think he would.
Yeah, I would put him on the ground, but, like, he's not putting himself on the ground. That's my point.
In the NFL?
No.
I'd give him a shot. I'd probably get fired as a GM, but I'm giving him a shot.
Control freaks like Nick Saban, and I say that with a ton of respect. He's the greatest college football coach probably of all time. So control freaks like Nick Saban don't work in the NFL.
I just can't.
Hello?
I just can't figure out, how did we get here?
How do we get here? I'm with that. But so you're telling me Nick Saban's a red flag guy if he's walking into your building? As far as his
coach,
control.
Yeah. No, I have no interest in hiring him as an NFL head coach.
So there's got to be a desperate organization if that's the case then. Because I'm looking at it and I'm saying if Nick Saban is wanting to, I don't want to say bend the knee, but duck his head a little bit to say, hey, I want to come coach into your NFL league and one of your 32 teams, there has to be a sign of change.
I could see an organization and an owner like Jimmy Haslam doing it, or Woody Johnson.
He's been to the Browns.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there are owners that would do it. I would not do it.
Stefanski's also, to a point about availability, how many times he won Coach of the Year? 2 or 3 times
Twice.
already?
Yeah.
Is he fireable at this point?
I mean, in Cleveland, everyone's always fireable.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
It just depends on which owner gets mad enough to fire someone before they should. Like,
That's the organization I'd look at for him. Yeah, that makes sense.
And Woody Johnson just hired Aaron Glenn, so it's not going to happen in New York unless something really weird happens. But, like, you think an owner like David Tepper wouldn't be intrigued by having Nick Saban run their franchise? Absolutely they would.
Well, yeah, Matt Rule
I don't think it's very smart. But so are there are plenty of owners that aren't very smart.
So his roles, that's true. So from what we've said in the conversation we've had this morning,
right?
He's only available for a coordinator role.
I don't think he's available for anything. I think he's bored this time of year, and in a couple weeks, he won't be bored anymore once he has College game day to do and things to actually fill his time. This is the time of year where Nick Saban's taking his players out on the boat and hanging out at the lake house, and Miss Terry's got snacks for them when they come in for the boat after going jet skiing. I'm serious. Like, this is when it's fun to be a head coach. There's no recruiting the transfer portal right now. Yeah. There's just worrying about X's and O's. It's making practice schedules. You walk into your office at a decent enough hour with a coffee in your hand. There's no serious game planning going on. Like, this is when you might miss coaching.
Yeah.
Oh, but once you get into that grind and once your receiver that just had a good day of practice walks in your office and asks for $200,000 more, that's why Nick Saban isn't coaching anymore. And once he realized that again, he'd say, oh, what have I done?
This is the time of the year, I mentioned this earlier, where I was just like, I should be going to camp.
Yeah.
So I get that.
It's the glorification of the ugly part of the job that when you're doing the job you hate, and when you're not doing it, you kind of miss a little bit.
I get that.
We all have parts of our job that we hate it, but when we don't do it anymore, we miss it when it's gone. That's the phase of retirement that Nick Saban is in. I will be shocked if he coaches again. Shocked if he coaches again.
I want to see it. I want to see where.
Oh, I'd be fascinated to watch it, for sure. I'd love a truth serum poll of owners and athletic directors who would hire Nick Saban tomorrow. Because I bet there's a lot of teams that would fire their coach if they knew they could get Nick Saban in college football, including maybe his old employer at LSU. Anyway, Stephen Godfrey's going to join us at 9. We'll ask him about it. Coming up in 45 minutes. 615-737-1045. Coming up next, though, we shift gears. Talking Vols once again en route to Atlanta. Austin Price of VolQuest joins us next.
Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking. I lost 70 pounds and my friend lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months.
Wow, what are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99.
Is your concrete in need of repair? Maybe your sidewalk is shifting, your driveway is cracked or sinking also, or maybe your porch steps have moved on you. Shifting concrete can create a dangerous situation, just trip hazard around your house. Think about it, man. Grandma or grandpa walking up to the house, and just because you got a cracked sidewalk, they fall down and hurt something, man. We don't want that. It's also just a big eyesore, too. It's Ramon Will. Whatever's going on with your concrete, call United Structural Systems. Ask them about their polyurethane foam injections. You've heard about USS for a long time. It's the same company that's provided superior foundation repair and waterproofing to Middle Tennessee since 1994. Well, they can fix your sunken or settling concrete. USS uses polyurethane foam injections to lift and repair your sinking concrete in a matter of minutes. Lifted concrete can be walked on immediately or even driven on after 30 minutes. So don't go through that long, expensive process of ripping out and replacing concrete. Reach out to the company I trust, man. That's USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com. Or call them at 615-488-7855. United Structural Systems.
The glass breaks once again on Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee. Scooters is locally owned in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Whole crew here, Ramon Foster and Will Bowling, and on his way to Atlanta. Joining us this morning, getting ready for SEC Media Days, VolQuest's Austin Price back on the program with us here today. Austin, what's going on? How are you?
Hey, Ramon, I'm listening. You better not give Austin.
Oh!
Okay.
Hey, Austin, I'll tell you how much I love you more than Brent.
What's up, guys?
See, Hubs can't fight me right now. He's in the car hundreds of miles away, Hubs. I can say what I want to right now.
Oh, okay. It's going to be like that this morning. All right. Hey, Ramon, all you got to do is freeze him out this fall when Mike goes to throw to him. Just interject the thought and not allow Mike to throw it down to him. That's how you get revenge on him.
See, that's the type of stuff I like right there. Well, one more second right here. I can't wait to one more right here. I can't wait to do him like that. I'll see you next Wednesday, too, Hubs and Austin, if y'all guys going to be around, too.
I will not be, but you can hang out with Brent.
Never mind. I won't be around then.
Cancel it.
Thanks. All right, I'll let y'all do your little segment here.
Little segment?
Let Mike K. from Franklin know that Ramon will no longer be making the way up next week. Austin, first of all, this morning, do you expect anything of particular note from Josh Heupel today? How much is he going to take pride in saying nothing? Or what do you hope to learn from the Tennessee head coach as he makes the rounds for SEC Media Days?
Nobody takes more pride in saying a bunch of nothing, but we'll also give you a 2-minute soliloquy than Josh Heupel. I mean, he's going to talk about his team. He likes his team. I expect to hear that. I expect him to talk about just kind of the work they put in this offseason, how they've been kind of galvanized together, the quarterback competition that we will all see starting up in a couple of weeks, and just the unknowns that is Tennessee football as we head into this 2025 season.
Absolutely. Austin, when do you expect that QB battle to really heat up? Is it day one of fall camp? Is it the first scrimmage? Is it a couple of weeks? Like, when do we start to really get tangible evidence of, all right, here's a 1A, here's a 1B, here's a 1C, and this thing really start to amp up as we get closer to week one?
I mean, I think it's already started. I think in all of the throwing sessions with the receivers and all that, there's a healthy competition there. I think the competition is more internally. And what I mean this is like, I think George McIntyre is just kind of playing with house money. He's just kind of doing his thing. I don't think he really thinks about it as much as maybe Joey Aguilar and or Jake Merklinger do. I think George is just kind of putting his head down, going to work, and kind of laying in the weeds on this whole thing. He went into the 2025 season thinking he was going to be number 3, only playing in blowout situations. He's in a competition now. Again, I think he would be the undercard because he is a true freshman. But at the same time, I think it would be silly to totally overlook him. I think the other two, on the other hand, are more in this, like, who is this guy? Who is this guy type thing, like when everybody enters the room. Whereas, like, George is just like, hey, guys, what's up? Let's throw. I mean, like, sure. I just think he's much more laid back about it all. So the other two, I think, can see the competition in front of them, probably have a little bit more angst about it. But I think the competition's absolutely already started with just summer workouts, being leaders, dealing with people on campus, all those type things that you encounter on a daily basis if you're on the Tennessee football team, especially if you're the quarterback.
We're joined by Austin Price this morning of VolQuest on 3. Do I say rivals also now, too?
Say them all, baby.
There it is. There it is. Hopefully more pay come with that. I'm lobbying for that, so you won't have to, okay, Austin and Hubs. With that being said, though, speaking of the quarterbacks, man, I'm going to take something from actually Vanderbilt's Diego Pavia. Ron Slay asked him a question yesterday about how it was for him, and he told us this is essentially the time of the year he got to campus. It somewhat aligns with Joey Aguilar's and just the leaving of Nico Iamaleava, and he basically said he was behind the 8 ball, and he spoke about the idea of him having to capture a win against Virginia Tech. And what it meant for his team. And considering this is a new quarterback regime for this Vols team for 2025, I have to ask the question because I felt like Diego Pavia had an understanding and a level of maturity of what it meant for him to have a big moment. Do these three quarterbacks in Knoxville have that level of maturity to understand that they got to go and do something big and fast for them to be able to captivate the trust and just knowledge of what it means to play in the SEC moving forward, which is new to all three of them?
Yeah, I'm not sure George fully grasps it just because, again, he went into the season dating back to January thinking one way, and then it's kind of morphed on him a little bit. The other two, I think Merklinger understands he's got this window that's opened where he has a chance to capture something, right? And if you're Joey Aguilar, you're here for a one-off. You're here for, a season. This is your opportunity at UCLA in front of 12,000 people, and now all of a sudden you got a chance to be the starting quarterback at Tennessee playing in front of 100,000 plus. And so he has an opportunity. So I think that of anybody, Aguilar understands it, but I do think there's an understanding there from Merklinger because he sees the window has been cracked open for him to potentially slide in here and establish himself as Tennessee's starting quarterback before George really gets going and before Faison Brandon arrives. So this is his opportunity. As for Aguilar, he knows that it is hit the ground running. There are no breaks. There is nothing but full speed ahead and trying to learn the offense, learn his teammates, learn the program, learn the traditions, all of that in very quick manner.
No doubt. Also, looking at the running back position, as much as we speak about the passing game and the quarterbacks, this run game has to be elite for the Vols because it allows the quarterbacks to grow up a little bit, man. What is going to be the expectation for Peyton Lewis and also Deshaun Bishop? Man, we've heard so much about Deshaun Bishop. I definitely feel like he's one of Coach Heupel's favorites, man. And I think just a team favorite in general. But what do you expect from guys like him, who's this third year for Deshaun Bishop and the second for Peyton Lewis?
Well, I think that the running game has always been stout under Josh Heupel, no matter who the running back has been. Since he arrived 4 years ago, this is going into year 5, 4 years ago, he's had 3 running backs eclipse 2,000 career yards, Jabari Small, Jalen Wright, and then, of course, last year with Dylan Sampson, in different ways. I mean, they all were kind of different type backs. There's not been a cookie-cutter type back. This room, I think, has talent to it. I like Deshaun Bishop a lot. He's got the right mindset. He's got a certain swagger to him because of his story and how he went from just having a couple of smaller offers to taking a chance and walking on at Tennessee and being the hometown kid. Then you got Peyton Lewis, former 4-star, highly regarded recruit. You have guys like Star Thomas, who's kind of bounced around but had a really solid year last year at Duke that can help Tennessee in a number of different ways, and then somebody like a DeJuan Morris or Justin Baker who are true freshmen. Mm-hmm. So I like this group. I think that there's less questions in that room, even though you're replacing the SEC Offensive Player of the Year, than there are at quarterback, than there are at wide receiver. So I think the running back room is really solidified. It is a really solid group. Maybe it's not got the individual star power, but I don't think you have to have that. Again, especially the first 3 years under Josh Heupel, it was a heavy rotation. The difference there is last year you had Dylan Sampson, who got a lion's share of the work and did so with a new position coach in Darrell Sims. This year, Sims will have that chance. Does he go with 1 or 2 backs? Does he go with 3 or 4? He will tell you he's done it a number of different ways at different stops along the way, whether it be at Cincinnati, East Carolina, or wherever. So I think he's not locked into doing it one particular way. Whatever gives his room the best chance to have success is the way he'll do it. And based off my knowledge of everything, I would say you're going to see a healthy rotation of running backs in 2025.
Speaking of the running backs, let's go to the guys that directly hit them play after play, man, the linebackers. Is there not a better coach to be able to handle? I mean, is this the best coach that we could possibly have handle this linebacker group in William Inge? With the guys he's gotten as of late to commit, and also just looking at Arian Carter, Jeremiah Thielen, and just the balance of talent that they have coming into that room now, it seems to me that Coach Inge is by far the most perfect guy for that position to the era that they're in right now. How has that evolved, and how do you expect that to move forward? Because I feel like the good Tennessee teams, or just good college teams in general, that inside linebacker position, man, leads the way defensively, I feel like more times than not, on the elite teams.
Inge played the game at a high level at Iowa, He's a very laid-back human being, a laid-back coach. He's a great teacher. You talk to former players that have sat down and had skull sessions with him. You talk to former players that maybe have, kids that are recruits that have sat in the room and heard their son talk ball with William Inge, and they're all super impressed. Inge kind of hit the ground a year ago and did a fantastic job of blending into a room that he did not recruit. And those players like Jeremiah Thielander and Arion Carter and Edwin Spillman all gravitate towards him. He's a different personality. And I think that somehow, some way, they've all really just kind of fallen in love with playing for him. And he's done a tremendous job of recruiting the last couple of years. That was a big question of him coming in was, can he recruit? He's always been on the West Coast. He's never been in this league. And he's done a really nice job. You look back at last year, Brendan Ames, Jaden Perlotti, Jaden Harmon, 3 highly thought of linebackers pull the trigger. This year, TJ White, and then Braden Rouse the last couple of weeks to go along with Braylon Outlaw, who committed 6 or 8 months ago or whatever it was. Another nice class of linebackers. That's a room that I think is one of the strongest parts on the team. Now, again, some of it is unproven, but I really like their top 3 linebackers. And if any of those freshmen can show them anything, or Jordan Burns in his redshirt freshman year can show them anything, I think the depth there will prove pivotal for Tennessee as a defense.
VolQuest Austin Price, our guest on 3 Rivals, VolQuest.com, where you read his work. JB Shabazz, Austin, commits to Tennessee last week. The On3 and Rivals industry ranking, love him as the number 9 offensive tackle in the country. What kind of get is this for Tennessee? 6'6", 280, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. That's been fertile recruiting ground for Tennessee, Austin, and another homegrown member of this offensive line that Josh Heupel's kind of putting together a pretty good group of.
Yeah, JB is a kid who I think best football still ahead of him. He's still learning the tackle position, getting a little bit more polished at the tackle position. He's not as polished as David Sanders was a year ago, but is big, long, physical, has those athletic traits, is very agile for an offensive lineman. And so this is someone who Glenn Ellerby really took a liking to. And when you talk to him, he'll tell you that relationship was big for him. It was the relationships, how he felt when he got here for his official visit back in the month of June, that led him to pick Tennessee. Just a handful, throughout the last couple of weeks before he made his decision last week. And so I think for my liking, Tennessee's done a fantastic job of bringing in tackle bodies the last few years. When you look at Bennett Warren, even a guy like Jesse Perry, who's more of a swing guy, David Sanders, obviously, and then you look at, Lance Hurd out of the transfer portal. A few years ago, they did not have tackle bodies like they have right now. And I think that speaks volumes about kind of where they've went, where they've targeted, and the success that they've had over the last, couple of years out there on the recruiting trail.
Austin, I know a lot of Tennessee fans curious about the star rankings and the changes this time of year, and Faison Brandon being a 5-star and then now a 4-star in the industry ranking. I know you're not the one making the star rankings, and it's hard to speak for somebody else's scouting or decisions about a player's status changing in July. Maybe the better question for you, though, Austin, is what is maybe the thing Faison Brandon's going to have to work on? What is the knock on him for a guy who is such an elite prospect? Where does he still need to improve going into his senior season to put himself back in that 5-star conversation?
Well, first off, he's still a 5-star by the industry ranking.
Right.
And I think the biggest thing most people need to realize is the Rivals ranking, the old Rivals ranking went away. The new Rivals ranking is the old On3 ranking that just now has the Rivals logo to it because of the acquisition of Rivals. So in reality, the Rivals ranking went away. The On3 ranking is now the Rivals ranking. So we can consolidate it down to one. So nothing's really changed. He was ranked in the 30s by On3 before the rankings update yesterday. He's ranked at 33 after it. And so it's a much about nothing, to be honest with you. He's still a 5-star. I think in the end, he'll have an opportunity to end up being a 5-star by the rivals ranking again before it's all said and done with a really good senior year, and we'll see where things go. But, you know, he continues to impress. He impressed at the Elite 11. The kid's coming off the state championship and, you know, continues to do things, you know, the right way. So Joey Halsley, Josh Heupel, they could not be more excited about Faison Brandon throughout this process.
When you look at a guy like Tristan Keys, too, it's also a Tennessee target, I think, still. What does that do for him? Wide receiver is a very tricky, delicate position, man, and a lot goes into your praise on the front end from your quarterback and everything else. Has there been any contact with him in a response as to how that plays a part into, to be quite honest with you, the mindset when those stars mean a lot to these young guys?
They do. I think that Tennessee continues to have a great dialogue with Tristan Keys. He's one that, if let's say he flipped tomorrow to Texas A&M, he's going to visit Tennessee this fall. He's going to visit Miami this fall. He's going to visit A&M this fall. Like, I don't think like him flipping right now does him any good. I don't think that's the plan. I think the plan is just to stay committed to LSU and take your visits. And I think he'll be in Knoxville this fall. He'll be in College Station this fall. And this thing, the rubber will meet the road sometime probably late November, early December for Tristan Keys, and they'll go from there. There's going to be a few of these that are more exciting finishes than they were maybe in the middle of the road as far as recruitments. He, Hezekiah Harris, Tristan Givens, all these players that Tennessee, I think, will continue to battle it out for, much like they did a year ago when they flipped Jaden Harmon from Alabama, when they flipped, DeJuan Morris from Southern Cal. A year ago, we saw more flips for Tennessee to the good than in years past. I think there's the potential for that this year as well.
He is VolQuest's On Threes rivals, our own Austin Price, who joins us at 8:20 here every week. Co-pilot Brent Hubbs along for the ride to Atlanta. Guys, safe travels. Appreciate you as always, and enjoy another SEC Media Circus. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, guys.
No grabbing the steering wheel, Hubbs.
It's a rarity that I'm driving, guys. Normally, I'm asleep in the passenger seat.
See, he's punishing you from going out of the country. He wants you to get back to American roads, Austin. That's all.
Punishing me so much that I'm going out of the country again Friday.
You just flexed on us real quick, man.
I love it. All right, guys.
Enjoy yourself, fellas.
Enjoy. There's Austin Price, Brent Hubbs with us here this morning, talking some Vols. Good stuff.
My man's getting his international stamps up, man. Also, he'll need a new passport. I hope he got that gold star in his driver's license, though.
Yeah, the real ID. I
ID.
need to do that.
You do?
I've still not done that.
Come on, my boy.
I take my passport to fly right now.
I got it. Man, did I tell you about the story we had at Customs?
No.
Oh, my. If you're going out of the country with somebody else's kid that's a friend of your son or something like that, you have to get a handwritten letter from the parents. We almost got stuck at Customs. They almost took us to the back room.
Bahamas, too, you do it in the Bahamas.
What's crazy?
You do all the immigration stuff there, then you get on the plane.
I know. Yeah. And the lady was like, come back. And I was like, what are you talking about? She was just like, do you have a letter from their parents? I was
Not
like,
words you want to hear from a customs agent. Come back.
Quick pro tip. I said it on 3HL. If you're going out of the country with someone not your kid, get a letter written from the parents to say it's okay. They don't want to do FaceTime. They don't want to text. They don't want to call.
I went down there to broadcast that track meet I did last summer, and I had to explain very specifically what I was doing for work. Because I imagine they don't get a lot of people that say they're in the Bahamas for work.
Yeah.
They're like, what are you working on?
My.
I'm a broadcaster. Of what?
She made.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm so sorry.
This lady made us sweat, Will. I can only imagine what it meant for you. It's like, we're actually taking them back to America.
Yeah, right. You're right. 615-737-1045. Lane Kiffin was on the Paul Feinbaum show yesterday. It's like an 8-minute audio clip. We're not going to play the whole thing, but this was one of the greatest pieces of content that I've seen from an SEC football coach in quite some time. It's so entertaining. We're going to play you some of it coming up next. Ramon Will at 104.5 The Zone is fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Stephen Godfrey coming up in about 15 minutes. Looking forward to talking college football with him here in hour number 4. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling. Austin Price, good conversation with him as always. You can hit the podcast feed in case you missed it. Here's the thing, Ramon, with me, before we get to this Lane Kiffin, Paul Feinbaum stuff, because they sounded like a buddy cop movie yesterday on the SEC Network. It's kind of hard to tell who is going to be Tennessee's starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Until you're playing against a defense and wide receivers are reading the leverage of that defense on choice routes. Like, that's the unique part of this system. Talking with Austin and talking with Bren and talking with anybody about this QB battle. Like, in the Josh Heupel offense, receivers make a lot of reads.
Yeah.
And if you have inside or outside leverage or a safety over the top or middle of the field open or closed, dictates where you as a receiver is running. Well, that means the quarterback has got to quickly determine, all right, is my wide receiver on any given play running a comeback, a go route, or a post route? Mm-hmm. Until there's a defender to actually play defense, I don't really think we can learn all that much about this quarterback battle yet. Am I fair in that, or am I off base?
We've seen this before. Hendon Hooker, Joe Milton. Joe won it flat out because of the talent and the idea that he was superior as far as being able to run the offense until you saw what it looks like when Hendon comes in. Hendon was able to read, dissect, break guys down, and it wasn't just a one-off. It was a situation where he did it again the following year, too. So to your point, you're 100% correct in that because it is so – I want to say 100% correct, but there's a lot of things pointing in the right direction that this may be – I got a feeling we might see, too. I feel like we brought this up a few times in this offseason about how the Vols going to go about this thing, but I think you're right. You almost find yourself in a Joe Milton, Hendon Hooker situation almost again.
I think with 2 quarterbacks are going to play against Syracuse. I do.
It may be good.
I think 3 play against ETSU.
Oh, well, if this is
if it's a 50-0 game.
That's what I'm saying. I got my little nephew up there, man, Matthew Manning, who's been trash talking me like that. Yeah, I can't wait to dog out Matthew. I told him, I'm going to come see you. He's an extended nephew, but he's my nephew. It's my trainer's son. He's my trainer's son. Sure. So I'm going to come hug you, then I'm going to go ahead and start digging the ditch for your funeral.
Well, never say never. Austin Peay gave Tennessee a run for its money 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's also a different era right there. So this ain't that. So that's what I would tell you. But they got a good program, but you're right. It should be a blowout to that point.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, the competition's already begun. Don't get me wrong.
Austin Peay. Yeah.
You gotta hit open receivers.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing Joey's got to do that Nico didn't last year, is when there's a layup to be had, actually put the ball in the hoop.
Yeah.
Instead of missing the backboard altogether the way Nico was in some of the deep balls. But anyway, I don't know. Maybe just a thought. Like, until they're reading leverage of defenses and throwing to wide receivers on routes within the system, I don't think the competition really starts until that. But
yeah.
I believe what Austin says, too, that it's there's already posturing and angling beginning.
But that's what we also meant, too, from Diego Pavia's conversation. Golly, man, they never say I never talk about y'all, okay? But, like, his point was, like, moments have to be had. And that's where you're at right now with this. Moments got to be had.
Right.
Yes.
Lane Kiffin went on the Paul Feinbaum show yesterday. This was unbelievable. Josh Pate put out the whole clip of it. And said there are networks that are paid millions, people that are paid millions to try to replicate this level of chemistry. You haven't heard this yet, have you?
No, I have not.
This is great. Lane Kiffin on the Paul Feinbaum show yesterday. We'll play a portion of it here.
We have a certain schedule, and in full disclosure, we like to be transparent.
Yes, we are.
Coach Kiffin was not on our list. We did not ask for him because we were told that he would be unavailable.
No, you didn't ask at all. I was like a late portal addition to your roster. Like, somebody else must have said no.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, we'll take you. I'm already supposed to be gone on the airplane back, but full disclosure, I asked Paul's people, is there any way I can go on before I leave, because this is my favorite part?
Yeah, and I get asked all the time, like, please tell me about the relationship with Lane Kiffin. I just told you off the air, I did an interview that's going to be, ESPN's doing a big deal on you, and they asked me about the weird dynamics between us, and this is strange talking about in front of you.
So, people ask me that all the time, because they really think we don't get along. And they say all the time, like, that Feinbaum, man, like, way to stick it to him, man. He's always trying to get you. And I'm like, wait. I go, I like Paul. I think Paul likes me. And we just, it's kind of like a odd couple,
Yeah, you're too young, but I mean, back in your dad's era, there were buddy movies.
Okay.
Where you had these two oddities. There was a famous show even in the 70s called The Odd Couple.
Odd Couple. There you go.
It was a sports writer and a very fastidious guy like you. And they lived together and became a movie. Jack Lemmon, Warren Mathel, and made a lot of money off of it. So I'm not suggesting that, but we could.
Hold on.
Your career ever ended, we might be able to go on tour.
They just said when I was walking up, you're going on Feinbaum. I said, you got to give the people what they want. And I think the people like seeing us.
Yeah, I mean, you're a highly successful coach. I'm a struggling sports guy.
You're highly successful. You stay at the same job. I have to keep moving. I keep getting fired, and I got to get new ones.
Yeah, I told somebody this morning, and I was on one of the shows, and they said, "You think Lane Kiffin will be on the hot seat?" I'm like, going, Lane Kiffin is like the most beloved coach since Johnny Vaught in Oxford, Mississippi. I mean, you have doubled down. I mean, your family lives there.
Yeah.
Everybody's there.
We've got all kinds of people there. Knox is there. Layla's there. It's awesome. I think we have 10 Kiffins in Oxford. So it's really awesome.
Yeah, there you go. There's so much more to it.
They're so cringe together.
It is. They go on to talk about how Paul was helping put Lane on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Saying that Lane Kiffin had arrived with his first big win after beating Georgia. Then Lane said, then my head got too big. We had a bye week for 2 weeks. Then we went down to Gainesville and we lost. So I have you to thank for that. It was so good. It was so good. The whole thing is fantastic. It's the pauses. Yeah. It's like what you quoted it yesterday. Stanley The Office. You have to listen to the pauses, Michael. You have to. It's the awkward pauses that make that. It's not what they say. It's about the lack of eye contact in the video and the pauses in between everything that each of them actually say.
Lane lives in a world of make it weird with him, and I love it.
He takes pride.
Paul plays it well though. Too.
That's
going to be an older guy like that. How old is Paul Feinbaum? 70s?
That's a good question.
I got you.
Take a guess.
I'm going to go 71.
He is 69 years old. He turned 70 on July 26th.
It's the hair. It's the hair.
2 days and 42 years older than me.
Born in Memphis.
We're almost twins. Yeah, that's right. Christian Brothers High School.
Is he a Christian Brothers
Christian
guy?
Brothers, White Station, University of Tennessee.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
No idea.
Daily Beacon alumnus, Paul Feinbaum.
Daily Beacon.
Coming up next, Stephen Godfrey joins us. We'll talk college football with him for the 9 a.m. hour. Coming up next.
When couples walk into Genesis Diamonds, their eyes get so big, good people. It's a mind-blowing display of sparkling jewelry with literally thousands of choices when it comes to engagement rings. All the styles she's seen online are right there, but the experts at Genesis make them feel totally at ease, too. You're offered a beverage when you walk in. They're asked a lot of questions about their taste and their style. They're given a no-holds-barred education. And they are even told the secrets of the jewelry business, too. The consultants at Genesis are not on commission. They're not retail clerks. They are not transaction focused. They can spend 30 minutes with you or 3 hours with you. It doesn't matter to them. You can see dozens and dozens of diamonds in an array of sizes and shapes and color grades. You can see handcrafted rings from all the top designers that other stores aren't even allowed to carry. You can see the difference between a diamond that is properly cut and one you might see at one of those online places. The difference will blow you away. Bottom line, Genesis will take all the risk away, all the mystery, all the confusion, and help you make a decision that you will be confident in for years to come. Genesis Diamonds is a true direct importer with rock bottom prices and a luxury experience with no compromises. Again, Genesis Diamonds are located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
It is 9:02. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. SEC Media Days, Day 2 is getting underway in Atlanta, Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas. All speak today. You can tune in to 3HL this afternoon and hear exclusive interviews with the Tennessee collective of Bryson Easton, Arian Carter, Miles Kitzelman, and head coach Josh Heupel. Plus, Auburn head coach Hugh Freeze and quarterback Jackson Arnold, as well as Georgia linebacker C.J. Allen, will all join the show this afternoon. You can, of course, hear 3HL as they broadcast live right here on 104.5 The Zone from the College Football Hall of Fame from 3 to 6 p.m. today. In NFL news yesterday, the New York Jets and wide receiver Garrett Wilson reached an agreement on a 4-year, $130 million contract extension that includes $90 million guaranteed, making him the fifth highest paid wide receiver in the league at $32.5 million. Averaging per year. Wilson now will be under contract the next 6 seasons. In other news, the LA Chargers have placed wide receiver Mike Williams, who's entering year 9 in the NFL, on the physically unable to perform list. He'll miss a portion of the team's training camp. Williams is in his second stint with the Chargers after spending the first 7 years of his career in LA. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you have to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Ramon Will at 104.5 The Zone, fueled by Scooters Coffee, locally owned near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Into hour number 4, talking some college football this morning. Ramon Foster, present and accounted for.
Hey.
Justin Hawkins, our producer. I'm Will Bowling, joined in studio, talking college football by Stephen Godfrey. What's up? How we doing?
I want some Scooters coffee.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where y'all at? Hit me up. Gift card.
Hey, all around, man.
Hey,
You can make that happen.
Gillisville, White House.
Let's go.
Like a little bit
It's
everywhere.
good stuff.
Brentwood.
Let's go.
Have you had one of the cinnamon rolls yet?
I have not.
Warm cinnamon roll falls apart in your fork in a good
Okay.
way when you dig into it. Every time I go to Knoxville, there's one on the way out in Mount Juliet going east on I-40.
Hey,
Easy.
Look, my coffee affiliation is up for sale.
All right,
Let's
well,
go.
we got you.
Where y'all at?
Allow us to step into your office.
When you say that, I just picture Godfrey under a light pole. Like, here I am. Come by me.
Yeah, oh yeah. Let's go, man. I got
For coffee beans.
Dude, I got 3 kids in school tuition. I will sell anything.
I like it.
Yeah.
What you been up to? How's the summer and off season?
I've been not thinking about college football. What about y'all? 'Cause guess
Pretty
what?
much the same.
Every time I do, it's pretty terrible. It's like
But
that.
Greg Sankey said the sport isn't broken yesterday.
Oh, it's perfect. He also, I felt, look, ego's a dangerous thing, but I would say maybe that line about super conferences, I was like, that's 2 to 3% aimed directly at me. Because I wrote 3 different pieces for the Washington Post last year talking about how he's secretly assembling a super conference at the sort of benefit of the SEC, but at everyone else's expense. And he came in, well, guess what? It's a super conference. I was like, all right, let's go. This is perfect. The Bond villain moment I've been waiting for with that dude. At least he's interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Why does he feel the need, in your opinion, to say it?
Oh, I think he has evolved in a way that I haven't really expected, where when he starts and he takes over, remember, he takes over for Mike Slive, who's like everybody's grandfather. But I've talked about this before. Mike Slive was a gangster. I mean it. Like, Mike Slive did more quietly behind the scenes to change the identity of college football, but never, ever felt compelled publicly to sort of show you the saber that he rattled behind closed doors. And I think that his esteem was so high amongst all of us that when Sankey came in, look, what has Sankey done specifically for the SEC?
Expanded it.
He's born, I've said this on, what's the dude's name? Skarbinski. I'm just going to go straight into it. First segment back. First college football thing I've done.
Let's get you ready.
All right, let me roll the sleeves up. I put something out there on social because he was doing this at the meetings in Destin.
Yeah.
He was really kind of being blustery. And I'm like, he's doing this for the benefit. He's trying to bolster his own legacy right now because we're in such a transition point for college sports.
Right.
But I said, look, this is the quintessential born on third, thinking you hit a triple executive in sports. And his little choir, I'm already doing the swear filter this morning, so that's where the pause came from. His little Kiss Butt choir in Birmingham. Shout out to Skarbinski, that columnist down there. Wrote an entire column about my tweet or whatever, like lighting me up on here's all the amazing things that Greg Sankey's done for college sports.
Oh, wow.
There's some sensitivity right now. And what's funny is, like, if we want to start talking about this today, like from the top, like the highest viewpoint of college football right now, you have an SEC commissioner and a Big Ten commissioner, and they couldn't be more different in how they're going about engineering the future.
Right.
In terms of how vocal they feel like they need to be, how in front of it they feel like they need to be. Whereas I feel like the Big Ten right now is operating much more like a well-run professional franchise.
Right. And it's made for TV. Like Tony Petitti has this idea that the NBA play-in tournament can be a college football concept. Like it is about, well, and that's maybe the similarity of where the Venn diagram comes to the middle of, like, the purpose of those jobs is creating the biggest television deal you possibly can. And Greg Sankey sitting there with an 8-game schedule saying, ESPN, if you want a 9th game, then come pay us for it. Like, we're not going to give you a 9th game of marketability, of revenue for you without you coming to us with a better deal for us to go to a 9th game in our conference. Then I'll tell my coaches to get over it and be okay with it.
As long as we identify this sport by its conferences first, all of the decision-making, good or bad, is going to be with guns drawn at the people you're negotiating with. Yeah. So we're all walking around like a John Woo Tarantino film. We all got guns drawn the whole time. But you're the person, and you're the person that I have to get something done with. So what I mean by that is he's got to do that with his television partner.
Right.
But also remember, there's still this sort of rumored thing about doing I guess you would call it non-conference super schedule between the Big Ten and the SEC that they would somehow be able to, maybe not with the speed that basketball schedules non-conference, but something similar to that in the early season. So they're sort of at war with each other, but they're also the only real players left on the board. And what they do affects everybody. It's really, you would look at it as ESPN, Fox, Big Ten, SEC. That's it. That's probably something like 25% each owns the sport.
Right.
That's a huge
It's literally
percentage.
like if the NFC East and AFC East had commissioners that were deciding what's good for the entire NFL.
Wow.
We did one of the episodes of Who Killed College Football. We started when we introduced the conference concept on, like, why, if you believe conferences, the identity, the tribalism of conferences killed college football. The NFC East could negotiate its own TV deal.
Right.
That's all I have to say to NFL media and people, and they're like, oh, God. Oh, God.
Absolutely not.
Oh, God.
Wait, I thought they already had
There
their
wouldn't
own-
be a
own media
Jaguars. There wouldn't be a Panthers.
Yeah.
We would just imagine the disparity.
Oh, my goodness.
ESPN already has a media deal with the NFC East. That's why First Take only
Baby.
talks about that.
Hey, shout out to there's a bunch of people who are in this listening audience that picked up on that thing that you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I just don't have a good hashtag for it, and also, like, I'm not going to do it every day. But
Right.
when I'm in the gym, I always will find one TV. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have a working theory that 365 days a year, ESPN is talking about the Cowboys. Y'all, I'm talking about meteor hits New York City. Aliens get out of the meteor.
Absolutely.
And introduce renewable energy. All right? And then First Take would be like, how does this affect Dak Prescott? He seems shaken as a leader.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Morning after the Thunder won the championship.
Yes.
Morning after.
Yeah.
Hockey, whatever, I get it, but morning after the Thunder won the championship. With a little bit of LeBron thrown in there.
You best believe you got to
Bro, when LeBron retires, I don't know what they're going to do.
Talk about Bronny.
Bronny. Yeah.
Bronny can't carry that weight.
We brought up Dak yesterday a little bit, man, just in the sense of, like, ROI. Like,
okay.
Because what do you say about him?
He's the quarterback of the first ever number 1 ranked team in the college football playoff rankings back in the day.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, legitimately,
Mississippi State.
I'm looking at, like, the return on investment with the amount of money that's paid out to quarterbacks. I'm saying, like, Jerry's either, like, very much into what DAK is, just in general, Dak that is, or, like, there is no way to oversell for a guy like him in today's climate when it comes to building an entire team.
I think that
here we are talking.
Yeah,
you got to separate.
Here we are taking the bait.
Yeah, I always go back to Dak as a college football player, though, and I go back to that Dak. I spent a lot of time with him just doing profiles and being around the program, and Dak was there's no probably about it. Dak should never have been the Cowboys quarterback. So I think when you talk about sort of like concentric circles of like one of one, all of the attributes, skill sets, the mentality, the decision-making process, the emotional makeup of being a successful NFL quarterback, then inside of that very small pool, you have to withstand such a genuinely, colossally, like an American brand of stupid that comes with being the Cowboys quarterback. And this is not a slight against Dak.
No doubt.
Because I don't meet a lot of people who could survive all that.
Oh,
but
and
Dak
quick,
especially, no.
But that's the conversation was from the top 10 list from Jeremy Fowler. That's
Yeah,
what
okay.
Dak was honorable mention or got votes or something. I'm thinking like he got a
lot of money to pay for
salary.
also receiving votes.
Yeah.
I also think that he was never. They've juggled some hilariously inept offensive coordinators there, and his skill set is like, let's use an SAT word this morning, bespoke.
Bespoke.
Okay, it is. I'll give Dan Mullen. I'll give a lot of credit for really unlocked everything he could do at the collegiate level, and I don't know if they ever really. I think they saw the raw attributes at the pro level, jumped on it. He was really durable for a long time.
And Tony allowed it.
Yeah.
Romo.
Yeah.
Romo allowed that to happen.
Yeah. I don't know how much of that is bluster, like when you back channel, and I don't do as much nearly like the level of NFL that I do college, but Tony was apparently a good guy about all that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like his play and the blunders that he had and perception became reality. When the big moments happen, Tony always fumbles the ball or throw an errant interception or something. So that's what I mean by he allowed it. Like being a great teammate, that's I get it until he starts overdoing his broadcast.
Poof.
Tony.
That went from like must see the first 2 years to it's kind of grating now.
It is. It is. The market.
What I love to do is to come on the show and make friends with people in our industry.
The market corrected itself.
I mute 90% of the broadcast. So.
It's my goal as a broadcaster is to not be muted, honestly. If I've done that,
I say that around y'all, and you're like, oh, cool.
No, it's
Way to go, hipster. Are you on Twitter during that?
No, the market corrected to wanting more Greg Olsons after we got so many Tony Romos, I feel like.
Yes, because and the Brady thing broke me too, because a lot of those
attention to him.
I've never seen a broadcast ever in any sport where the analyst, the color analyst, was the priority over the game.
Right.
That's Gloria from Modern Family's new thing now.
Is it?
Y'all see that?
No,
she's dating Brady.
Yeah, they were like seen on an extended vacation together. Yeah.
See that.
Anyway. So we've done Cowboys
how bad
broadcaster gossip this morning already.
He's gonna stretch in every direction to recover from the fact that his supermodel wife, who dwarfed him in income,
that's tough,
was a Brazilian MMA fighter who could absolutely fold him like a chair.
He's not alone. Him and Diddy in the same conversation.
All right, there we go. With Stephen Godfrey, this will get back on the rails.
How many minutes? 14 minutes in, I broke
14 minutes. The first Diddy mentioned. That's Stephen Godfrey. No,
and it wasn't me.
More with Godfrey coming up. Is Nick Saban going to coach again? We'll talk about that.
Absolutely, yes.
And we'll talk about Tennessee football.
Your Tennessee Titans
today as well. Coming up next. Ramon Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone, talking college football on a Tuesday. Both Tennessee and Texas making the rounds. Georgia and Auburn, always the media circus in Atlanta, interesting to us. Just gives us an excuse to start off the SEC college football season. Stephen Godfrey in studio. Before we get to Nick Saban and the Titans, what a tease that is.
Can report, done deal.
Godfrey, tell us what you are working on, where the people can find you, what you are up to right now.
Every time I come on the show, there'll be a new plug.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, because we're hustling. I'm gonna be honest about that. I'm gonna be transparent. Yeah. We're all media folks here. You got to hold a portfolio.
That's right,
all right.
You do. I'm learning. I picked up another job yesterday.
Hey, dude, state of the industry as much as you can bear.
I got 6 jobs.
There you go.
I don't get tired.
Hey, give me 2 weeks. Give me 2 weeks.
My boy running with me now.
Right now, I want everybody to check out PhantomIsland.show. Phantom Island is a sports podcast production company that I started with a longtime friend and cohort, Ryan Nanny. So if you've listened to my stuff before, it's some of that college football insider stuff. It's some of that talking about the state of whatever you could think of in football or the South, whatever. But there's also, we kind of freed ourselves up to ask questions and try to find answers. So our very first episode was actually about like, hey, is Live Golf going to make it?
Nice.
All right.
I like it.
Like, what are we going to do? Like, what? And I know nothing about golf. So what we do is we try and answer, one of us is trying to inform the other, trying to ask a question together.
Yep.
We did one on the Women's College World Series. Why are the ratings so much more consistent than men's college baseball?
I can tell you why. That's a world right there. You hear me?
Yes.
Hey, I'm
absolutely.
in the baseball side of it. The softball side of it is more consistent. You can find them. And here's the thing about the softball side. God, Godfrey.
Here we go.
The softball side is this real quick.
The tangents on this.
There's availability for everybody. I love the fact that a small girl, short girl, a big girl like myself can all be in it. You don't have bigs in baseball.
No.
You don't. Right?
No.
Because go ahead. But
No.
I love the
You
consistency.
can have base and not
dog.
flyer, if you will.
I'm telling you, dog. I absolutely love it.
That was a high school cheerleading reference out there this morning. So.
I lost that one. I'm gonna be right. I never went on that field.
Base not flyer?
You were on the field while they were.
I don't know if I may have learned that from what's that movie? Bring It On or whatever. I don't know.
No, be prideful in what you watched as a youth. Okay.
I worked in a video store.
You don't know.
I worked in a video store. I'm leaving it at that.
So much.
Asking a different question every week.
I like it.
We've done stuff on pretty much every sport at this point. We got a thing coming up on JJ Redick. All right, here's a tease for this audience.
Okay.
All right. How did Darnell Dockett and 9/11 help the Tennessee Volunteers? I'm just going to throw that. It's like a riddle.
2001 Tennessee-Florida game gets moved to November.
There we go.
Instead of September.
This is the kind of stuff we're doing. This is the kind of stuff we're doing.
The Iceman cometh in the swamp. The one Tennessee quarterback that can win down there.
It's that. It's also us. We have a show on there called Numbers and Words, where basically I bring everybody's a statistician now. Everybody's doing advanced stats, and so we bring on people, try to take one thing. Here's what I've learned: everybody in this industry is trying to be infinitely smarter than they actually are. So if you just break it down and say, hey, look, you're talking about your whip war over XSPL dot. And then if I bring someone in and say, hey, okay, walk me through this like the terrible math student at Ole Miss that I was. What we find out is that usually makes really good content because most of the audience is trying to catch up as well. They want to learn. I think most sports fans want to be educated and want to have a greater sort of sense of access to what's happening in the actual live moment, especially in football, right? Because it's it's that 4-second car crash and there's 22 guys. So we slow it down, we ask questions, and then I have on some people I've worked with before, like Bill Connolly from ESPN.
Friend of the show. We love Bill.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it.
Absolutely, man. That's
show.
I'm gonna tell Will, we're gonna steal that little idea just in case she was one question a week that we need to have.
Let's go.
Side sport. I like that, man.
Training camp starts next week, so we'll get it done in the next week.
How raw
are y'all out there every day?
That's the plan.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God.
They go. We got joint practices in Tampa and Atlanta that we will not be at, but there'll be joint practices there. So we'll get about 2 weeks off of it. So we'll get the beginning of it. And
so you're going to Flowery Branch in Atlanta?
Yeah.
My brother was there for a little while too. Flowery Branch. He played for the Falcons. This is his first team. I'm not training.
Wait. What year?
Nardo was there 07 to 09.
Oh, he was there for the Troubles.
Yeah, he was. He was there for the letter in the locker.
Yeah.
That was his coach in college.
Bobby?
Yeah, Bobby.
I have questions.
The future Arkansas head
No,
coach,
okay.
Bobby
My
Petrino.
By the way, shout out to my brother. Today's his birthday.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
18 months
Happy
apart.
birthday. I'm sorry you played for Bobby Petrino.
He had the great years, though, at Louisville. I will say that much, though, too.
Yeah, but that dude was still a tyrant.
You know what? My brother benefited from it.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, there's
For
some
sure.
guys out there, like Roddy White always said that like he would not have been an all-pro wide receiver if not for Bobby and his brother.
Yeah,
But otherwise, Bobby Petrino, sociopath.
Just don't put him. Never mind. I won't say about the motorcycle thing. I just did.
We already
What
said
about
it
it?
earlier in the show. Just run
Hey,
it
do
back.
you know it's a just sort of well-tread conspiracy theory in the state of Arkansas that it was a setup?
Is it really?
Like JFK inside job?
Get out of here.
Yeah, they used the state troopers to like cover it all up because in actuality, her man found him and like beat him up.
I did hear that.
Yeah, this was a theory for years.
I did hear that.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
100%.
This was a theory.
like that wasn't an
Don't
accident.
sue the station that I just appeared on. This was a theory, a talking
Allegedly.
point.
I heard
Yeah.
they found them. He found them.
Correct.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And then they spilled the bike to like
You look at his face. He got the
yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't
That's,
it doesn't jibe.
Look at us.
I mean, does that make it easier for him to replace Sam Pittman, who's going to get fired before November this year?
I think Sam Pittman. Oh man, you just snuck me right into the news world. All right, fine. I don't think Sam Pittman will be the head coach at Arkansas in 26, but I do think that it will be with very little acrimony, even if they bottom out this year. And that roster is inarguably better than what they surprised us all with last year.
Sure.
So I think that let's game it out and say it's 5-7.
Yep.
Okay, or 6-6. I think 6-6 would be the
It's
sweet
a
spot for Sam.
front-loaded schedule, too, where like
Yeah.
they don't get state until, I think, November 1st.
Okay.
Later in the season.
So if we can play the schedule game, we don't have to. Let's say we're in the neighborhood of 5, 6, 7 wins. Sam's age, the way that contract's structured right now, and I think also his relationship. He could look. I don't know what his total wins would be at Arkansas if he finished with 7 this year. They're going to build a statue or something for this man,
right?
Because the state. This is where all Big Orange can relate. So just close your eyes right now. I'm doing a little therapy with Big Orange. You ready? Just put yourself, switch the nouns out, okay?
Push my orange cup.
All right, you ready? You ready? Think about, if you don't know, you may not know how colossally bad Arkansas was. I'm not talking about 2-win seasons. I'm talking about, I had coaches tell me that is the worst Southeastern Conference football roster I have ever seen on tape.
The Chad Morris days were even rougher than Tennessee's Jeremy Pruitt days.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, definitely, because Pruitt was still doing, he was inefficiently doing the dirt. And there was talent, but there was talent coming in. There was coaching talent coming in and out. Yeah, like 100%. There were pieces that were still being recruited to Knoxville. Really, I would say every era except, Dooley probably didn't do much.
Just not on the offensive line, right?
The ground can fall out from under a program like Arkansas faster and worse than I think in a place like Tennessee. Marginally so sometimes, but dramatically so.
Yeah.
There was a leadership void. There was an AD issue. All of these things. Hunter Yurachek came in, kind of a veteran AD from places like, he'd been at Houston with a lot like the Tom Herman stuff. Kind of figured out how you have that tweener identity of like your SEC, but there's a cultural identity. You're basically Texas. That's why they played all those games in Dallas. And like Arkansas is a tricky thing to balance.
Yeah, it is.
But you brought in a guy at Sam Pittman at a time when nobody was going to take that job.
Right.
Nobody. This is why I give the gangster, and that's why Danny Gangster gets so much credit from me, is because Josh looked plug and play, crony as hell when it happened. But it was really the same. So I have this. He's a bridge coach. Right. That's what I call him. Bridge coaches. Hype was, but he's by the way long since exceeded that. Okay. Save your phone calls.
Right. The fact that they were running like not tempo all the time to help their defense that they knew was their best chance to win last year is signs that he grew and became something else.
Oh, another episode of Phantom Island we asked a question: why doesn't the NFL fake injuries the way college does? Oh. Shout out to Lane Kiffin. I didn't think that was that. I didn't think that segment was that funny. I was listening on the way in.
Oh no, I loved it. I think you have to watch it visually of just the lack of eye contact, the awkward pauses, the awkward like, you gonna go? Like, am I gonna go?
The thing about Paul is he's so accustomed to being the subversive person.
Yeah.
He wants to needle someone as tight as Saban. He wants to get at someone who doesn't have a lot of confidence, like Hugh Freeze. He wants to be the provocateur. But Lane has no north or south. He just comes on and is just sort of this like chaotic amoeba who would just as easily turn the table on Paul question to question, or then snap back and then be very friendly and conversational. So it's almost like Paul is never on balance as an interviewer.
Right.
He can't think like when you guys are doing this, you're 2 and 3 steps ahead of this. Like, and I think he loses his equilibrium a little bit.
Yeah. I love it. You can't needle an amoeba the way Lane Kiffin is wired.
Now you got us on this Arkansas thing too.
Yeah.
Will got a question about that one, I think.
I do?
No, Nick.
Oh, well, yeah.
Nick Saban,
we
Arkansas?
mentioned, is Nick Saban
Can't confirm. Can't confirm.
Is Nick Saban the John Calipari of football? No, there's some similarities, but
it could happen. So wait,
is Nick Saban going to coach again?
You said,
yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
During the last break, you didn't think he would go back to a team that had to play Alabama.
Correct.
Why?
I think there is
Because I'm going to dial every number of my father-in-law, who's an LSU TAF member, except the last one, and then when you're done, I'm just going to hold the phone up.
I think it doesn't that create a complicated legacy for him at Alabama, a place where he still has a parking spot and an office.
He doesn't care.
And a statue.
I think he does care. I don't know.
About Bama?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
I think Saban cares about Saban.
Okay, fair enough.
He's one of them types.
I mean, most
they're all megalomaniacs.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah.
Fair. That's fair.
All right, let me throw some out.
Okay.
When I first saw this,
yeah,
I had a series of expletives, mainly about the timing and the origin of this rumor. Oh, first day of media days in this go. Fake television. Let's take it on its face for now. I would look at immediately. Okay, I gamed out a terrible situation, and they would overextend themselves, and they would ruin their credit, so to speak, by doing this. And that's Tallahassee. Okay? Oof. Yeah, that was my fun, like, all right, what's the meanest thing I can do? Where I can actually game it out based on what I know.
Oh, wait.
Ryan Nanny, my co-host on Phantom Island Dutch Show, he said, what about Norman? And that one made a lot more sense, where I'm sitting there thinking about, because Oklahoma is going to have a really fundamental identity crisis if this thing doesn't work this year.
Right.
And I like a lot of what they've done, but I don't know if it's a long-term solution. And sometimes when you hire a career DC as a head coach, you just get that DC-itis, whatever you like. It just doesn't work.
You never have to worry about them leaving if they're successful. That's the biggest issue.
That's Bob. That's Bob.
Yes.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah.
It's the first time an Oklahoma coach has been on the hot seat entering a season since
Cooper.
1998.
No, that's Ohio State. Since what's his face? Yeah, since 98. I forgot his name. The guy before Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot to.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I'm not even sure who his name is.
No, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's Oklahoma. It's fine.
He would have kept his job if he was worthy of us knowing his name.
So you're
25 years
saying
later.
Norman is the place?
It seems like on paper. So he's not okay. Here's what we do real fast. Let's take college football, cleave off anything that's below the Power Four.
Yeah, right.
Be serious with me. I mean, come on.
100%.
He ain't going back to Toledo, okay? You have the Power 2 and the Power 4. So the answer is yes for any school in the Power 4. Whether or not they could afford him or whether or not he would be interested in is basically like an asterisk across those two ACC and Big 12 school conferences. Okay, so there's that. I mentioned Florida State because they're sort of at that tip of exception where they are trying to comport themselves along with Clemson as a Power 2 school. I'm still not used to all my designations there.
Yeah.
Inside the Power 2, there are a couple set situations. 10.
Okay.
10. Okay?
Yep.
Where I don't think that they would like boot out their guy overnight.
That's fair.
Then you have wiggle room. Which of those would he be interested in? How could they afford? It's not just affording him, by the way, because I don't think he would come back for a colossal 15 payday annual. I don't think that's why he's doing this.
The completion for him.
He's doing the Brady thing.
Right.
Oh, it was just Belichick? Yeah. It was just New England? Watch this. So now, if that's your mentality, you got to do it quickly because you ain't getting younger. You got to be resourced. You would have to, and this is where to me, this is where all this falls apart as an imaginary little tale that we're doing because it's July and we're on sports radio. You would have to find a collaborator at the GM position. And I don't know if you've read one of the 95 books that my colleagues have written in fealty to this man. He don't collaborate.
No.
Okay?
He's a control freak.
He's America's lovable tycoon.
Yeah.
Despot. Okay? So, but you would have to now because now you're managing an NIL roster.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would have to go to somewhere where he could get all of those bells, whistles, buildings, everything constructed overnight. Remember, because Tuscaloosa and Austin were the only places in the world at the time who were like, you want me to bulldoze this building across the street?
I got you.
Done.
Well, now that you're paying the players, too, it's harder to get a place that's willing to do that because the money that was spent on facilities, it's why college teams have nicer facilities than NFL franchises.
So no joke.
They pay the players.
If you read his original book,
yeah.
I don't know. His formula would have to be adjusted for the modern college football players.
Right. 100%.
This strip you down Marine Corps thing and then build you back up.
Yeah.
And then everyone talks about who cheated the most before NIL and all this kind of stuff. Like, well, Bama had to. I was like, they really didn't have to on the back end because he could slide that piece of paper across the table and say, what do you guard?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's the last 7 guards that I sent.
Exactly.
First, second, third round.
Yeah.
So we ain't got to give Mom and them $20,000.
Right.
Well, we might,
if you do what I say.
Yeah, and you might get that Dodge Charger if you want. And that some other booster's going to talk to you about that. We don't have to do McDonald's bag dropping Mississippi Saga gangster nonsense, but that took 12 years to build.
Right. Exactly.
If you go to Norman, Oklahoma, it's like no, you got to find someone who can run. Basically, like he failed miserably with the Dolphins, and no one talks about this because we're all SEC country, and we got to keep our gods and we got to make our men our gods and all this nonsense, and like talk about how he's a genius. He ate the curb in the NFL because he could not collaborate.
Right.
And when he didn't get Drew Brees and was stuck with Culpepper, he didn't adjust.
Facts.
What's that pivot podcast with like
Ryan Clark?
Yeah, who was the
Channing.
Channing's talked about it because they were there.
Sure did.
And about how terrible he was to the vets.
Yeah.
How is that a short-term solution for long-term gain?
He wouldn't even speak to Channing.
Yeah, and I mean, how are you going to get better if you got a roster that was like semi-decent in Miami? They weren't bad,
Right.
But they're in open revolt against you because your little college way of doing it doesn't work.
One player not coming, Drew Brees, is the reason why he fell.
He kind of throws, like, if you read his autobiography, he kind of throws a fit after that, and then it's over.
On that podcast he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fast.
I mean, he wasn't kicking kickers like Urban Meyer, but he wasn't far away from
He went close. Yeah, he went. So that's why I personally
That's
thought.
the 30 for 30 I want.
And me too. That's why I thought Arkansas because of the money and wealth.
Oh, you mean for, okay. Yeah, I mean,
It's untapped. He can go in.
a lot of
with
Tyson chicken nuggets to get Nick Saban to
Iron
pick
fist.
up the
Oh,
they would do it. Yeah, they would
sure.
do it. They would have to re-engage. Some of these families, I think there is a misconception. So like Phil Knight has this tap that you can't turn off at Oregon. That's not true.
Okay.
I've been to Oregon. I've been in a couple. I was embedded when Taggart was there for a signing day process, and they're looking for. They'll rise the tide temporarily, but they're also looking for other people to come in. And I'm not saying Phil Knight's looking for 3 other Phil Knights to help him necessarily, but they do want other families in donations. So I think in Northwest Arkansas, some repair might be in order. But this is a program not without its drama. Y'all are cousins, Tennessee and Arkansas. I'm just telling you. There's like 3 families. Everybody thinks they should win 5 national titles in a row. They'd much rather cut their nose off to spite their face. And if the team only wins 4 games this year, that's fine. Because this other rich family, he pissed me off on a golf course and and his seats are closer, and so I'm going to wage open war. Yeah. I think Danny.
Memphis.
This is why I think Danny. I think Danny had a lot of people disappeared into the mountains.
Yeah.
When he got there, he's just like, "Where are my problems at? Let's just black bag gone." Yeah.
I mean, that's what our fight song is about: is disappearing people in mountains in moonshine.
You know, it is so much more metal than it ever gets credit for.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
It's about double murder.
Come on up here, and if we don't like you. You won't go home. There's not a lot of like fight songs like that.
What a song.
Stephen Godfrey in studio with us. We'll talk a little bit of Vols, the expectation reset for Josh Heupel in 2025 in a Nico Iamaleava-less, let's say that 5 times fast, Tennessee football program. Stephen Godfrey in studio. We'll wrap up the show next.
Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking. I lost 70 pounds and my friend lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months.
Wow, what are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99.
Ramon Will at 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up the Tuesday morning edition. Appreciate Austin Price. Appreciate Stephen Godfrey, who wraps up the show with us here in the studio. Expectation reset, Godfrey, for Tennessee football this year.
Vol therapy.
That's right. We got to have a little bit of it.
I do it every time I'm here. Did you notice the voice got calmer?
I did hear it.
ASMR.
Tennessee without Nico, with 3 options at quarterback. I think many people think it's 2. I think the more we hear, it's 3. 3 options who could start at quarterback this year.
Always exciting when people are saying it could be one of 3 or 4 guys.
Absolutely. It's exciting in a horrifying way. What does the expectation reset look like for Tennessee this year? Like, we were talking off air about this. Like, Tennessee is one of many programs that is susceptible to the floor in a down year being 4 or 5 wins.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Tennessee is going to win 4 or 5 games this year, but like, you can count on one hand the amount of programs whose ceiling is, or whose floor is still 9 wins. Like Kirby last year, they had a down year and they won the SEC.
Yes.
Tennessee does not have that level of champagne problems.
No, and it will be a while before that occurs.
Right.
But that's roster. Look, man, that's roster building. That takes time.
It's reality.
It takes time.
Kirby time too.
I live in a reality.
Okay, I said this off air, and I'll say it on air. If or when this is a less successful season, you cannot go back to thinking it's the old days. Okay? Because we just discussed what is in motion for 2026 and 7 and beyond for this program is what 98% of programs would kill for.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't have the dysfunction, the throne room drama, all the high intrigue and the nonsense that I was joking about earlier. You don't have that anymore, right? Or you'll be whisked away to the woods, disappeared. So there's an obvious reason why you're probably not going to be as effective on offense, certainly early in the season, right? Okay, we all know why. Yep. Last time I was here, everybody was in the middle of like stage 2 grief or denial or whatever the hell it was.
We were talking about Rocco Becht and Jalen Daniels, Tennessee quarterbacks back.
This is the season where you have to trust the process. You have to trust the process.
Yeah.
Okay?
For sure.
All right, everybody going to be okay with this?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Still could beat Syracuse.
We better.
They're a 12-point favorite in that game, which is a big number.
So that it's because there's that kind of weird dead cat bounce thing that happens where it's an underperforming roster in the ACC, so you lose track of it. It's somewhat talented. New guy comes in, upperclassmen kind of get up for him because that coach is legit. He's legit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he is. Met him in the Bahamas.
Oh, yeah?
Super cool dude. Tried to recruit my sons.
Oh, he will. Dude, I'm telling you, SEC Big Ten job within 5 years.
Say that in a joke,
Dude.
but he on his way.
Oh, yeah.
He on his way.
Arkansas should call him.
He's a hitter, man. Oh, yeah.
Fran Brown, Arkansas, him recruiting the Southwest would work.
He should be the next head coach at a major Big Ten program because of the Jersey origin, but he paid attention when he went to SEC recruiting school. Right. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
So Heupel goes out today, right, in Atlanta.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
This is a nonsense event. It just
he takes
invented.
pride. Like, he'll smile at reporters as he walks back from the podium of like, good luck with getting anything out of that.
Yes. And so
this is hit guys on the arm.
This is where, all right, if you want access, is what everybody's listening for, an insight. This is it's not a real media event. It's public positioning for these entities, these little corporations, the Tennessee Corporation, the LSU Corporation, whatever. The Tennessee Corporation today is going to come in on the defensive because they're going to get all the Nico questions from all the non-local Nashville, Knoxville markets, right? Sure. That's going to be where they set the marker on narrative. What is Tennessee going to do after Nico? Oh God. Now, what you don't want to do from a PR standpoint, if you're Tennessee, feel free to listen to me, by the way. Is Bill Martin still the SID there?
Yeah.
He loves me. He loves me.
Oh, yeah. Friend of the show.
Shout out. You've got to find a way to get 180 degrees away from that, but without also positioning your head coach or your program as victims of the new personnel trend.
Right.
So you got to be so sweet, sugar won't melt, all right? But you cannot fall prey to the idea of what could you have done differently? Was this about Tennessee? Was this about Nico?
Right.
Like, this is going to be some high-level, 300-level PRing today.
Sure.
And then the best possible thing that can happen for you is that whatever it is, you can leave with some other narrative going on, either about the state of the SEC or something you can jump on where Nico is not the first conversation people are having about Tennessee outside of Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do today. That's the work you have to do. And that passel idiots down there who are all just so happy, like fanboys. I got my credential. They'll eat up whatever you give them.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the softest audience in the world. Did you see that one reporter at the home run derby who was just acing people, just crushing questions, and everyone was like, how dare you? And it's like, hey, that's what journalism used to be 20, 30 years ago. We would actually ask hard questions and look you in the eye. And now everyone's like, oh, I hope I don't get my credential, yank.
Yeah.
I love it. It's the kind of stuff you get. Stephen Godfrey here on the show.
You don't want
Good
to
see
be
you.
SID?
Been a minute.
Me?
That was good.
Being SID?
That was prep right there.
Bro, that sounds, no. That's a different tax bracket for me. I ain't doing that.
Up or down?
Down.
Phantom Island.
Not a chance.
Hit the subscribe
Boy, that
button.
would not
Check
pay
it
me
out.
enough to do that nonsense.
Let's do it again soon. Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
All right, there's Stephen Godfrey. That is the show. Wednesday morning tomorrow. We'll talk more college football, recap what we hear from Josh Heupel, and Rep Ryan in studio tomorrow.
No doubt. And obviously, good people, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.